khi mà vào trận thì bản thân ở đó mình cũng nghĩ là các đội LCK sẽ dễ dàng đánh bại Jiu nhưng mà Jiu lại không hề dễ vậy và họ đánh bại LCK với tỷ số là 3-0.
事実を見た時にはもう本当にちょっと心が震えましたよね。こんなことができるんだっていう。
我觉得 G2 能打赢 LCK 对我来说是一个很大的激励吧。感觉有一种一下课上的感觉，让我觉得充满希望。
Câu chuyện của chúng tôi sẽ bắt đầu từ bây giờ.
Và Spong vào đây cũng cắn chẹt, ta đã bị trúng cùi chỏ. Haki tới bắn tay, tiếc quá. Haki.
Tôi tin chúng ta có thể làm được.
Một phải lùi về, Long quay lần 2, nhưng sau đó là bóng đai tay kia rồi. Kia ra được vậy, triple kill.
俺たちが勝ちます。
下から引き上がってマーブル安全な勢いを取って、そしてテレポートを返していく SSG、右を寄せて一気に反転だ。万が一応が
该写结局的时候到了。
倒追倒击，也是队友前期，然后站起来，听到电视被秒杀掉了。这边辅助换辅助 ，Red 往前一个顶。
现在开始一步都不能错。
有在这边拼死掉的哭泣，风倒下，还在滑，还在滑，往前撵。弄到这边红手，小兵，小兵，很高，哇！接不。
Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MRA.
Chúng tôi sẽ ở đó.
無敵？もうそうじゃない。それは TSW のことだ。
Even with eyes shut, I see them. Vile creatures, lurking, watching.
You wanna play too?
None can hide. They laugh from the shadows. They won't be laughing for long. I'll cut out their rot. Hunt down every last shadow. Cleanse this place once and for all. I will rid this world of demons. No matter the cost.
Hear the chorus of sun and moon, our voices, an untiring hymn against the silence. Do you feel it at last? Long have I circled this world, descending only when the Watchers first stirred. Mark and fracture! I had such hope for you, Void Hunter. Fall to fire! Fall and be silenced. Silence, dreaded herald. Rise with me! Sunfire Eternal! Huh. Providence! Our dance continues, sun and moon in perfect step. Watch as our enemies are undone. Abyssal vermin, I bar you from the heavens. As night ordains! Silver moon, your blade fulfilled our ancient vow. This is predetermined. Keep going! A lunar storm gathers. All in my path shall burn. The eclipse consumes! The moon is stained red this night. Pierce through it! Fall! My eclipse is rageful as righteous! You betray existence! Is it inevitable that our paths diverge, Golden Sun?
Here's an overview of how Coach Comms works. Each team may assign one coach per game, submitted with the starting roster. Coaches can be changed between games. Only a head coach, assistant coach, or analyst is eligible. Sub-players are not allowed. Use of the Coach Comms is optional. Here's how Coach Comms operates during matches. The coach is placed in an isolated room, wearing a soundproof headset to ensure competitive integrity. They may only view the 5-player POVs on stage. No live stream, spectator mode, or external devices are permitted. Each team has 3 Coach Comms uses per game, with 45 seconds per use. Unused users do not carry over. After all users are exhausted, the coach may leave the room. If they leave early, they cannot return. Team members not participating will have access to standard spectator mode for post-game review. Coach Comms has received positive feedback from teams and fans and adds an additional strategic layer to the game. The feature will be reviewed at the end of Split 2. Stay tuned for more updates.
Em nghĩ team em có thể đứng trong top LCP. Team em khá là đoàn kết với lại sức trẻ nữa, càng đánh càng hay. Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MRA.
Sẽ có máy trực tiếp tại thế giới thì họ rất là mạnh, thì fan cũng là sẽ cố đặt niềm tin vào nhau để có thể mạnh hơn sẽ có những lần trước.
Off the map, they do get the rift herald. Oh, the flash encore! It's just too quick. Flag and drag follow up.
Chúng tôi là thời đại mới của LCP.
The mountain charging forward. Doggo is the target. Artemis is getting some damage off. Yeah.
Khi bước up thì bọn mình cần phải đánh với tâm thế nó đầu tiên phải là tự tin đã, và nó cái tâm lý nó thật là thoải mái, thì khi đó thì bọn mình sẽ đánh đúng với thực lực của mình.
因为我们现在成绩不算特别好。但是我们进季后赛，我觉得我们也能像巨兔一样一下课上。
比赛对于 SUG 接下来有点痛苦，能不能及时开团来？魅惑没清到，并肩也没中，竟然全空。那能不能推一首歌唱起2重奏？魔球猛击将2人给推在墙边，这无限的控制 ，A 秒，还好 A 滑了进去，换掉对面辅助。就南姆一次刷，刷了还不少人，而且马博伤害是有的。这西达伤害其实是很高哦。现在角度来说，尼塔这里突然一个闪现的后面叫零。 他们在盖住了右边没有闪现的 Area 就在竞技场里面死了，而有天使甲的他们奈可以卖，在天甲站起来的瞬间，滴滴想要选择先把塔给推掉，此时站起来的他们奈没有选择后面进场，一次 Q 起了3个人 ，Triple Kill 给到了 Florence， 此时应该有人在大喊偏塔，但没有了。
Một cái khóa thiên ly và một bộ gỗ đã có trên người, rút về được với việc là trả lại một tốc biến. Bây giờ chính Shadow là kẹt, Shadow tốc biến chạy đi, có gió trả ra để cover cho Shadow nhưng có vẻ như được về nhà là xa quá, chặn lục được bùng nổ đấy không về được Shadow. Mạng thành cho chiếc của Haki đánh tiếp lên MVK thôi, quá nhiều lợi thế rồi. Giữa chân của sân thủ Dogo yếu máu, Haki vẫn đang ném, năng lượng là thấp nhưng vẫn là đủ để trả ra một W dứt điểm đi, đã một kill dành cho chiếc của Haki. Một mình Kino chạy nhưng con mèo này thì chạy đi đâu và đó là một tình huống làm 4 đến từ biệt của MVK.
TSW 连续的康普都没有命中，但 Florence 交出闪现奖将人给缓下，没有成功。此时目标要转下 AD 的同时，被一往前，他们那是直接风是直接往前开始滑，他根本不管后排连续的输出，名声裁决下来，但 AB 是控到完全抓不到后排，风就这么拿了个 triple， 他搭了巴德，这再不
cần có một người ở bên phía Sebo bị bắt lấy thôi thì nó sẽ là 10.000 tiền. Bảo đây, bị gì tới, bị giữ lại bởi vì không thể lấy chuyển, bị úp vào tường. Và bây giờ Sini đã tiếp cận trói lại với Lysandra, có lực ở chiều cuối ở một ăn bằng. Đánh tường thì là đủ để kết liễu bào và đây sẽ là điểm gục dành cho Sini, không thể ngăn cản Sini.
Khi mà vào trận thì bản thân ở đó mình cũng nghĩ là các đội LCK sẽ dễ dàng đánh bại Jiu-Jitsu, nhưng mà Jiu-Jitsu lại không hề dễ vậy và họ đánh bại LCK với tỷ số là 3-0.
実を見た時にはもう本当にちょっと心が震えましたよね。こんなことができるんだっていう。
我觉得 G2 能打赢 LCK 对我来说是一个很大的激励吧。感觉有一种一下课上的感觉，让我觉得充满希望。
Câu chuyện của chúng tôi sẽ bắt đầu từ bây giờ.
Và Phong vào đây cũng cắn trẻ, ta đã bị dùng cùi chỏ. Haki tới bắn tay anh ta. Tiếc quá. Haki.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tôi tin chúng ta có thể làm được.
Bắt buộc phải lùi về, đốc quay lần 2, nhưng sau đó là bóng đai tay kỹ rồi. Kia được quẩy, triple kill.
俺たちが勝ちます。
味方から引き上がってマーブル安全な勢いを取って、そしてテレポートを返していく SSG、右を寄せて一気に反転弾バンが一挙が
该写结局的时候到了。
倒追倒击，也是能队友攻击，但接下来 T2D 被秒杀掉了。这边辅助换辅助 Red 往前一个顶上。
现在开始一步都不能错。
有在这边拼死叫的哭泣，风倒下，还在滑，还在滑，往前tiến，这边红手小兵很高，哇！
Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MRA.
Chúng tôi sẽ ở đó.
無敵？もうそうじゃない。それは TSW のことだ。
Here's an overview of how Coach Comms works. Each team may assign one coach per game, submitted with the starting roster. Coaches can be changed between games. Only a head coach, assistant coach, or analyst is eligible. Sub-players are not allowed. Use of the Coach Comms is optional. Here's how Coach Comms operates during matches. The coach is placed in an isolated room, wearing a soundproof headset to ensure competitive integrity. They may only view the 5-player POVs on stage. No live stream, spectator mode, or external devices are permitted. Each team has 3 Coach Comms uses per game, with 45 seconds per use. Unused users do not carry over. After all users are exhausted, the coach may leave the room. If they leave early, they cannot return. Team members not participating will have access to standard spectator mode for post-game review. Coach Comms has received positive feedback from teams and fans and adds an additional strategic layer to the game. The feature will be reviewed at the end of Split 2. Stay tuned for more updates.
Em nghĩ team em có thể đứng trong top LCP. Team em khá là đoàn kết với lại sức trẻ nữa, càng đánh càng hay. Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MRA.
Tới sẽ cho mấy trận tiếp và tới giới thì họ rất là mạnh, thì tụi em cũng là sẽ cố đặt niềm tin vào nhau để có thể mạnh ra xếp vào những lần trước.
Off the map, they do get the rift herald. Oh, the flat encore! It's just too quick. Flag and drag follow up.
Chúng tôi là thời đại mới của LCP.
The mountain charging forward. Doggo is the target. Artemis is getting some damage off. Yeah.
Khi bước lên thì bọn mình cần phải đánh với tâm thế nó đầu tiên phải là tự tin đã, và nó cái tâm lý nó thật là thoải mái, thì khi đó thì bọn mình sẽ đánh đúng với thực lực của mình.
因为我们现在成绩不算特别好，但是我们进季后赛，我觉得我们也能像G2一样一下课上。
这场比赛对于 SUG 接下来有点痛苦，能不能及时开团？来，魅惑没清到，并肩也没中，竟然全空。那能不能推一首歌唱起两重之后，佛教猛即将两人给推在墙边，这无限的控制 ，A 秒飞秒，还好 A 米滑了进去，换掉对面辅助。就楠木一次刷，刷了还不少人，而且马博伤害是有的。这西达伤害其实是很高哦。现在角度来说，尼塔这突然一个闪现的后面降临。 泡泡袋盖住了右边没有闪现的 Area 就在竞技场里面死了，而有天使甲的泡泡袋可以卖，在天甲站起来的瞬间，第一想要选择先把塔给推掉，此时站起来的泡泡袋没有选择后面是进场，一次 QEQ 起了3个人 ，Triple Kill 给到了 Florence， 此时应该有人在大喊偏塔，但没有了。
Một cái thao thiên ly và một bộ gỗ đã có trên người, rút về được với việc là trả lại một tốc biến. Bây giờ chính sẽ đấu là kẹt, sẽ đấu tốc biến chạy đi, có con gió trả ra để cover cho Shadow, nhưng có vẻ như đường về nhà là xa quá, chặn lục được bùng nổ đấy, không về được Shadow. Mạng thành cho chiếc của Haki đánh tiếp lên MVK thôi, quá nhiều lợi thế rồi. Dưới chân của sân thủ Doggo yếu máu, Haki vẫn đang ném, năng lượng là thấp nhưng vẫn là đủ để trả ra một W dứt điểm đi, double kill dành cho chiếc của Haki. Một mình Kino chạy nhưng con mèo này thì chạy đi đâu, và đó là một tình huống làm 4 đến từ biệt của MVK.
TSW 连续的康普都没有命中，但弗拉瑞交出闪现想将人给缓下，没有成功。此时目标要转下 AD 的同时，被一往前，他们那是风是直接往前开始滑，他根本不管后排连续的输出，明色裁决下来，但 AB 是控到完全抓不到后排，风就这么拿了个 triple， 他搭了巴德车再过来一个空中剑击大战的 quadra kill。
Chỉ cần có một người ở bên phía Sebo bị bắt lấy thôi thì nó sẽ là 10.000 tiền. Bảo đây, bị gì tới, bị giữ lại bởi cái không thể lấy chuyển, bị úp vào tường. Và bây giờ Sini đã tiếp cận trói lại với Lysandra, có lưng ở chiều cuối ở một ăn bằng. Đánh tường thì là đủ để kết liễu bào, và đây sẽ là điểm gục dành cho Sini, không thể ngăn cản Sini.
ちょっとかじらせてもらうよ。
Welcome back to the LCP. Welcome back to the knockout stages, Pike. I'm so excited to be back one more time for these excellent games.
Oh man, we're in for a treat tonight. We've only got one good series. It's a best of 5, but like you said, Logan, knockout stage. It is week 2 of knockouts, which is even better. So we're getting so much closer. We're really getting close to those finals next week, but oh, we're keen and ready to go.
I can't wait to take a look at the bracket so we can see the path ahead of us, Pike, because you can see here and now, tonight it's match 3. It's Team Secret Wales versus MVK, and then match 4 will be GARM versus DCG. But from here, it's not eliminations tonight. If you lose, you can go down to that lower bracket and try and make your run all the way back up for that all-important MSI slot, Pike.
It basically means there's still a chance, no matter what it is or the outcome of tonight, there is still a chance to go all the way and get that sweet ticket to MSI. Now, for Secret Wales, though, they've already secured that ticket, Logan, so they're looking really good. But now let's look at the player of the match standings.
And this is what makes me think tonight's going to be spicy. If you have a look at these player of the matches, Haki and Chica, both from Team Secret Wales, are in the top 3 sort of player of the match standings. But Team Secret Wales, not to be outdone, Eddie and Hizto are right there nipping at their heels. Obviously, not to be forgotten, Kiaya and Drakthar from GARM, and then Relove and SHG for Hongshu and Marble. But let's take a look at today's matches. It's Team Secret Wales, our number 1 seed, versus MVK, our number 3 seed. It's a VCS derby.
I love a VCS derby. It's always going to be action, action, action. We're going to be seeing fights at 2 minutes on the clock. First blood, nice and early. And you know what? If it doesn't happen and I've just cast a cursed, it's going to be a disaster. But this is going to be a big series. This is really defining for not just MVK, but for Secret Wales too. They've both got things on the line here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have covered this off before, where we think in order to get to MSI, you need to win the split, right? So MVK, they need to win it all, and this is the team that wants to do it. It's Kratos with the substitute of Stella in that top lane, Guri as well, and the coaching team. We've got Sugar, Big Koro, Stella there, that substitute we're just talking about, and Chica, another substitute in that mid lane. And MVK, they love to cook up a very interesting draft. They're also not scared to substitute their players, which we literally saw last weekend. Stella was the starting top laner, but Kratos is the starting top laner for this match tonight, Pike.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting one. I think we sort of saw Stella was having a bit of a rough time, especially in that first game, but then Kratos stepped in and although didn't have as maybe the best sort of reactions we wanted, but was still there playing for the team. That's the big difference. And Guri having a phenomenal time too, played exceptionally well. Shawnee as well. Like, this team is still very well rounded, and now they've got Kratos leading, it's going to look even better. But it is Team Secret Wales now coming onto your screen. It is Pun, Hizto, D-Ray, Eddie, and BA. This is the immovable object that no team seems to have cracked.
Yeah, and not even MVK, only 2 or 3 weeks ago in their best of 3, went down in 2 games, nearly getting perfect gamed actually, have been able to kind of find a chink in the armor of Team Secret Wales, make that gap and force their way through. So it will be interesting to see, because Team Secret Wales, Hizto is the LCP MVP. Team Secret Wales, they're an all-pro team. But let's take a look at the head-to-head here, because we've got some phenomenal top laners in tonight's best of 5 series.
But we really do. It's Kratos up against Pun. Now, Kratos hasn't been sort of too present over the split as well, because they did bring in Stella pretty early on in the split when they did the big roster change. But still, you look at these stats and wow, it is actually crazy. The damage per minute for Pun is insane. And we know and expect this, because you're pulling out things like the volley bear. It's just going to be running at you. It's a very good time. Puns intended, and I did it with his name too. That's a double pun. I'm just cooking tonight. But no, as well, you can see over the rest of the stats, KDA is always good, but unique champions is where I'm really looking at, and is having 20 champions to 14 just means the pool is just a little bit bigger for the side of Secret Wales.
It makes me wonder if we will see Pun go to those deep pocket picks that he brought out in Split 1. You remember the set to close out the grand final in Split 1. It makes me wonder if the stars align, we'll get to see him do that one again. But let's take a look at what we've predicted tonight, Pike. I think it's going to be Yeah, 3-1 I've called. I think MVK can definitely take a game from Team Secret Wales, but sir, you've been a bit bolder with your assertions.
Look, this is actually a really hard topic for me because I actually put Vikings as my team to go to MSI. I actually think this is the team that's going to go all the way through. Now, I've put the 3-0 just because that's how much I believe in the Secret Wales. I think this team has looked so good and they've really started to clean up a bit of their gameplay. They're aggressive at the right times. They're at objectives early. The Vikings as well, yeah, have been doing that too. And I still very much believe in them, but honestly, it's hard to look past a team that has dominated all split long and the last split too. So it's a bit of a tall order for the Vikings here, but I think they've got potential. And I think you're right. I think the 3-1 is looking pretty good tonight too, but a 3-0 is also very, very strong in contention.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before we kind of jumped on air tonight, right? We were talking about who's going to make it to MSI. Team Secret Wales, they're already locked in. So whomsoever is able to win the split, who wins the grand final at the end of these knockout stages, will do enough to sort of earn their position into that MSI slot. And just because MVK, I'm saying MSI a lot in MVK, it's 3 letters. Just if MVK loses here tonight, it doesn't knock them out of contention. There is still that lower bracket run where they can find themselves up against Team Secret Wales again. And another point as well, Pike, is we have 3 teams from the VCS here in the knockouts. That's quite a strong representation for the region.
That's a great representation. I think it's just to show that this is a region that we actually know this as well. A lot of other pro regions like LCK and stuff have actually gone into some troubles up against the VCS in times past. So it's nice to see that they're getting a little bit of show here in the LCP and really trying to step up. That's a lot of napkins you're holding onto there, Sulong. So I don't know, just be careful. Things could get a little bit dry, runny nose, maybe some tears, maybe they're preparing, but you know what? I'm not going to put that on him. I think Vikings have still got a good shot tonight, even with my prediction. But no, you're right. And I think seeing such a strong presence from the VCS is telling for what we might be seeing in later splits to come or even years to come is, does this region start to really take over the LCP?
And it also speaks volumes that Team Secret Wales, also of the VCS, has been so very consistent, right? They were so close to taking it in 2025. They were always the runner-up to CFO. And now that CFO has kind of gone down a little, we might say, Team Secret Wales, they've stepped up as the sort of #1 in the LCP, and they've been quite consistent across both Split 1 and Split 2, only dropping, I want to say, 2 to 3 games across both splits, which is just insane form when you think about it, Pike.
Yeah, even looking at their spring split, so this current one, is they've actually won 23 games and lost 5, and they never dropped a series, so they've still got such a strong win rate. And overall, it actually came up to like 82% win rate in their games, which is a crazy stat. So the fact that this team has held on so long, and with diverse pools as well, where they can really play any sort of champion, they can sort of mesh the meta a little bit to them, I think this team has a really good shot at making a bit more of a presence at MSI. We can look back at the past and think first stand maybe wasn't Secret Wales sort of time in the sun, but you know what? Maybe they've been basking in a little bit of the sun as well. They're over there in Taiwan, they're getting a couple rays. Maybe they're going to be having a bit of a different take after this split, because it has been a longer split too, Logan.
Yeah, it definitely has been a longer one. We had a sort of medium-sized split in Split 1. We've got a very long Split 2 here. And I do believe we're actually going to almost have quite the swift blitz of a split in 3. And I kind of like the differences in the split lengths because it is a different style of play that these teams have to do, right? Some splits they play once a week and then they scrim for 6 days and then they play once. Whereas these sort of fast splits, you're on the stage more often, you're getting more comfortable, you're getting more practice with that sort of stage presence too, which a lot of people contend when you do step up to those international games, not having too much stage practice can actually be a negative thing. It can be a detriment to your team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Team Secret Wales can do into MSI, Pike, because that's literally around the corner and they have locked their berth into MSI. It's our second international.
You had to use the word berth there, but no, I want to make on something really quick as we're getting ready to jump into the right fist. It's all about atmosphere and attitude. That's the big difference here, Logan. This is what these teams really need to start getting a hang of now that they have the arena.
You are so right. Atmosphere, energy, attitude, confidence, all of it. But we can get back to that right after the Riot fist bump.
You feel it before the game even begins. The noise. Not pressure, electricity. A region that doesn't wait its turn, doesn't follow the script, where every match threatens to flip. Because here, nothing stays quiet. The pace is faster, the moments hit harder, and if you hesitate, someone else takes it. Anyone can break through, but not everyone can hold it. It's not just about the play, it's the next one, and the one after that. No guarantees, no safe paths, just opportunity for anyone ready to take it. Made for the stage, made for the moment, made for this.
欢迎来到 LCP Arena， 在今天第2周第1天的赛程，在今天开始进入第2轮的队伍，4支战队都将拥有一次复活的天使甲，因此我们可以看到更多的对决以及比赛。当然，来到了今天的对决呢，则是由越南小将 MVK 要出战的是 LCP 的王者秘密金鱼 TSW。以战力评估来说的话 ，MVK 是绝对的弱势，这可能是一场不公平的比赛。在今天的强压之下 ，MVK 能不能诚心的击败 CFO 的一个气势，拿下今天的对决呢？马上欢迎双方选手进场。上路 ，Kratos， 棒！打野 ，Gory Histo。中路 Sydney D-Ray， 下路 Harky Eddie。辅助 Sulong BA， 教练 Big Curl War Horse。越南的全新生代，以及呢越南的全新王者，两强相争必有一伤。比赛正式开始。
That was my dear friend Tommy. He's actually going to be my dad one day, and that is the dream for all LCP fans. But welcome as we get ready for the first draft, as it is moments away. One point of note though, Logan, did you see BA's slick long sleeve white tee underneath his jersey? Hella comfortable that looked, and I was like, he's going to be warm, he's going to be looking fresh, but it was white too, so it's not going for like the black on the white jersey. He's kept that color combination, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, look, BA is fantastic at League of Legends, and he's also fantastic at fashion, which is something I know nothing about, so my judgment is worthless. But you are so right. Oh, thank you. I am wearing the LCP jersey, actually. Unfortunately, can't see it right now, but it's pretty fly. But we do see that these players are here on the stage. They are getting ready for tonight's match, tonight's best of 5 series, right? The winner one step closer to MSI. I mean, if you're Team Secret Rise, you've already got MSI, so for them, it's one step closer to the grand final. But if you are MVK, it is one step closer to that MSI slot, and the loser gets knocked down to make that lower bracket run back up. You've got to play more games back to back. You'll be more exhausted, but you'll also be more practiced by the time you get back to that grand final.
There's pros and cons to that, Logan. That's the really big thing, right? Is yes, actually, we're about to get into a draft, so we can just talk about that, but it's nice to have extra games, but it can also be exhausting, is what I was going to say as we refine that. But draft is here, ready to go. It's Varus, Rumble, and Nocturne taken off the board straight away. Pretty expected.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week as well. Nocturne and MVK, they're synonymous. You basically have a 100% ban rate of Nocturne against MVK, and the trend simply continues here, right? Team Secret Wales, they're made of the same cloth, they're VCS, they know what Nocturne can and can't do, and they would simply rather ban it away, remove it from the game altogether. Now, Seraphine is a fantastic ban, in my opinion, Pike. Seraphine and Ashe right now are possibly the single strongest bot lane duo. So banning that Seraphine, and she's one of the strongest support, enchanters on her own, is just the right call. You don't want to give these super powerful picks over to your opponents in game 1, because this could set the mentals, this could set the momentum.
Yeah, look, you're 100% right. Now they're already locking in the Ezreal, which is a very late game scaling AD carry that's going to be picked up here for Haki. So I kind of like this. It's always got a little bit of that safety. You can pick something up like the Corki as well, which is a little bit safer regardless throughout the game. But I really like this. You compare it with so many different champions. Karma definitely comes to mind as one of these major picks you put with it. Nautilus being picked up first for BA is Hook City here, baby, and I'm ready for it. BA loves this. And the Lee Sin too, it's all coming up good so far for the side of Secret Wales.
And we've seen Lee Sin before. We've seen Lee Sin on the global stage. We've seen Lee Sin in the LCP. This is some early aggression that Team Secret Wales is drafting for themselves. They clearly saw that Ezreal and went, no, we don't want you to become that late game, powerhouse, the scaling monster that we know you can be. We want to end this game hard and fast and early. Because Team Secret Wales, they have beaten MVK quickly before. About 3 weeks ago, they beat them in 23 minutes, which is one of the single fastest games we've seen in the LCP. And this aggression on that Lee Sin pick speaks to me that they want to do the same.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing that's coming to mind instantly is if you got a Lee Sin, you got a Nautilus, Orianna has to be the next pick, right? You got a ball delivery system. It's still so strong in lane. Jace has been locked in for Vikings, so they're looking to probably put that into the top, potentially jungle. We've seen some really good performances on the Jace in multiple other regions too. So I really like this pick. I think it's really strong. It's very aggressive, but they're looking at the Ryze instead, so maybe they're trying to save the Orianna for a later date. You might need to start banning it out there because Vikings still have a mid laner available.
I also really like this pick on Ryze because it's D-Ray with Ryze. D-Ray is an absolute monster. He knows when to use that ultimate, and it is the moment it is off cooldown. He will get that bot side gank if you're pushed up under your turret every single time. So I do love this pick. The D-Ray has it. I'm expecting a lot of explosive early game action coming out of Team Secret Wales. And it just speaks to me that MVK, they need to have an answer, right? How are they going to prevent this early aggression that Team Secret Wales is putting down? Ezreal, very, very mobile, very hard to stick in one place, right? So very hard for Team Secret Wales to get on top of. Braum, you don't want to get on top of a Braum, right? Because Braum is so defensive, such a tank support, and really good at being able to protect from any sort of projectiles. And Jace, well, Jace can just be a long-range poke, making it that much harder to get on top of him as well, and has that knockback. So I kind of like what MVK has drafted against what Team Secret Wales is putting forward here and now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also think there's so many still options that they're looking at as bans are coming through. Annie, Talia being taken off the board. That sort of the Talia being off the board means the Pantheon sort of out of the question as well, but it is still highly contestable for the jungle role. Siva on the other side for Vikings, they're now looking at this 80 carry pick as what's going to cause the most disruption to the Ezreal. Varus has already been taken off the board, so it sort of leaves a couple things open. One of note potentially could be a Ziggs if you want something that's a little bit more late game taking those towers, but Jhin is their final ban.
I do like the idea of Ziggs being that sort of AP damage dealer, right? But Team Secret Wales, obviously, they've already got Ryze and MVK. They don't have any AP damage, so Haki could go for that, but I just don't think that Ziggs is Haki's style. I really think, obviously, having that Ezreal locked in and Eddie. Now, if you remember, Eddie in LCP Split 1 had a 100% win rate on Kai'Sa coming into the knockout stages. So this is a champ he is comfortable on, he is familiar with, that he can dominate on. This is quite the statement for Eddie to lock this Kai'Sa in for game 1 here, Pike.
Yeah, actually insane. And the whole time I'm looking at Secret Wales right now is it is dive, dive, dive. They're going to be looking, and not only with the Nautilus on the team, they're going to be looking to go underneath these towers early. The second Kai'Sa gets level 6, the Killer Instinct's going to come out and keep them so safe. But a Scion being picked up for this topside means it's going to be a Jace jungle, which is very, very interesting. So it's kind of cool to see that coming in. Now the Anivia being hovered, obviously not ideal. I think the Victor, makes the most sense. It's going to be a lot more stable, especially in these front-to-back team fights. But a Jace jungle definitely tells there's going to be a little bit of shenanigans in there too. But there is the Azir being picked up, and it is Faker's specialty, you might even say. But no, that's a very interesting one. It looks like it is Vikings looking for the big team fight.
Could this be a Kled? Oh, I saw the Kled hover and I was like, oh, come on, surely you can do it. BA messing around, having a laugh here as he's hovering the chair. This is excellent work by the camera team too. I just want to point that out, that they got him laughing and smiling. Shen? Oh, Shen. I like this pick. That offers some serious protection for the rest of the team. That global movement as well. MVK, they're going to get their ankles broken if they're not careful, because Shen has the global, Ryze has the global, and I mean, Kai'Sa can dive halfway across the map. Lee Sin's no slouch. Good luck catching Team Secret Wales.
Oh, but the big thing here is if you did get caught as Secret Wales, there's a chance you could get blown up too. I think the big thing that I'm looking at, the sort of the slight disjunction I'm seeing in the Vikings roster is this Ezreal sitting back, going to be poking. Same with the Azir. Sean is going to have their work cut out of them. But one Emperor's Divide wrong, one poor angle, one Fissure coming out of this Braum for so long could just be a disaster. These abilities need to hit. They need to wean them down early first. But the explosiveness out of the Secret Wales roster right now on these picks is going to be so hard to manage. Like, they're going to be at these objectives fast. They're going to be pushing hard. Kai'Sa with the static Shiv now as well has great wave clear. The on hit is phenomenal. So it's a really strong champion at the moment that has the items to work around it. I'm really worried for the Vikings in this game, because I think with the way that Secret Wales have been playing, it's going to be very hard to get through.
And another thing that I want to point out as well, not only is Team Secret Wales coming with the aggression in MVK, their movement around the map is going to let them answer every single jungle objective that MVK wants to go for. And MVK is our #1 jungle objective taking team. They always go for them the moment that they spawn. But enough about that. We are on the Rift for game 1 of tonight's best of 5 series between Team Secret Wales and MVK. We're in the knockout stages. You lose here, you get knocked down to the lower bracket. You win, you go one step closer to those grand finals, and Mecha Skins, be still my beating heart.
They do what to your beating heart? They be still
my beating heart. No, be still, because it's fluttering because I'm seeing Mecha Skins.
Be still. I thought it was a single word, not like be there. I thought it was like be there, not be still. But you know what? Don't worry about me. I'm clearly not having the greatest night of that anyway. But look at this trade already. D-Ray has all the damage in the world and says, pick a Zeri to me again. I dare you.
Yeah, D-Ray absolutely bullying Shawnee right now. As the wave pushed in, Shawnee under 50% hit pike, this is the aggression that we were talking about, right? This is what Team Secret Wales wants to be doing. Getting aggressive early, keeping MVK on the back foot, getting priority in their lanes. The junglers have started on opposite sides of the rift, but if we do take a quick look at those summoners, BA on that Nautilus has gone a much more defensive summoners there, is getting that heal instead of, say, something like the Ignite. So it's going to be a little harder for them to get the kill, but that's also Eddie. And for Eddie, kills come a kill a minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. Now, Pun as well doing a little bit of a Broken Blade special. And I say that because Broken Blade's been the one in G2 roster that's really sort of shown up with this amazing Shen pick. And you sort of mentioned it in draft too. I'm excited for when we do see Pun hit that level 6 and start looking for these amazing fights, because Sion only has the TP, where Pun on the Shen has both and can just warp around the map pretty freely, can go for a gank with the ultimate and then just TP back up to respond. So this extra mobility and movement, which you've called that it is all about these across map plays that sort of define the LCP for how good they are. This is where we're going to really see it shine for Secret Wales. We just need to see them execute it as best as they can, and their best is pretty damn good. But at the same time, it's already a bit of an early lead for Secret Wales. It's already 500 up. This just feels like a bit of a farm diff.
Yeah, all of their lanes are currently winning. All of their lanes are up in CS, but no more than one wave. So I just imagine it's a case of timing that we've looked at the wrong time. You see, it's already back to that 200 gold here. And I mean, it's all working toward that first objective. The Drake up in 2 minutes. So I expect in about a minute's time, we're going to start to see those tussles for priority. We're going to start to see Team Secret Wales really... Oh, D-Ray.
D-Ray got no fear.
True.
Burning the team
Cop the shot blast.
Yeah, that's not the end of the world. That's fine. We take those early. It's only when Jay has a couple items on their belt you got to be very careful. But until then, we're chilling.
You're right. We are chilling, and the camps they're being taken. His toe will be spotted out, as will Guri. So both teams have full information on where the opposition junglers are. They know Guri's on this bot side. So Team Secret Wales, I can't imagine they're going to want to be pushing up too hard, too aggressive. But take a look at the vision around the Dragon Pit. MVK have already got 3 wards down and around. So they have, Scuttle Crab as well. They have that vision control for this Drake coming up in a minute, because they know MVK love a jungle objective, and they want to have that information to be able to answer them, to be able to flank them, to be able to beat them at their own game. So I really loved this draft when it was put forward, that it just answers MVK.
Oh my god, D-Ray is actually just going so hard and just knows if you punish Shawnee early, there's not much they can really do. They are a late game champion, but D-Ray, just look, burning the flash out of Shawnee at 4.5 minutes is absolutely criminal.
Yeah, he ghosted for that and gets the flash out of Shawnee, as you said. So now D-Ray has that flash advantage. Guri forced to rotate to cover for his mid laner, try and get that wave shoved out so Shawnee can go back to base. Has to take a recall, does not have a TP, and this is the timing I was talking about, Pike. It's 10 seconds to Drake, and they have that mid lane priority, that mid lane advantage. Team Secret Wales, they know MVK are trying to go to that dragon, and they're doing everything they can to stop them. The hook goes a little bit wide, but it's just about pressure. It's about spacing and movement. And Team Secret Wales have that advantage in spades right now. We see his toe is already there. The ping's coming down because he will be spotted, but Team Secret Wales, this is what they built for. They want to beat MVK at their own game.
Yeah, that's it. And I think this is also another thing. Yes, Vikings have always been exceptionally good at getting to the Dragons early, but now's a bit of a potential fight going up on topside as Guri's making their way for the 2v1. Has to burn the flash out of Pun, which is not too bad, but Dragon already secured, so they tried to make a cross-map play, just didn't come up the Vikings' way. And now, bit of a fight down on the spot side. Nothing too much of note, but a nice early objective for Secret Wales. They're on the board with the objectives.
Yeah, I really like this play here, right? So Team Secret Wales, they played for... Oh, D-Ray.
What? D-Ray is looking dangerous, has flash available, has to be very careful. They are in kill threat, but Shawnee is just as close, so we'll have to see his flashes forward. Is it going to be enough? Is the shock loss? Is the knockdown? It's too much, and Guri is in the wings. Now here comes Histo, looking for the flash over. It's just too much. Histo picks up Shawnee. They pick up another double kill for Guri. Spells disaster in the jungle for the Secret Whales, but a fantastic outcome for the Vikings.
Overconfidence, over-aggression from Team Secret Whales there as BA does get the hook, but it's not in the right place. Team Secret Whales, they didn't have to take that. D-Ray was like, I've got this, I can do this in the face of two, but no, he couldn't. And he still had that flash. He could have flashed away to safety, but instead opted to aggress forward, losing his flash, giving first blood over to MVK because he's so confident into Shawnee. We see it here again. D-Ray walks forward, and this is a good start of the play, but he has vision on Guri. You can tell he's going to the wall to flash over it if he needs it. And then Guri just walks away. Like, D-Ray knows he's right there, thinks that he's able to get that kill, but unfortunately, Guri was so much faster. So it's just a really strange call there. Histo, Shulong being in the area, it's a 2v1. It feels like Histo felt like he had to get something back and instead gives another kill back over. It speaks, it sounds of overconfidence, almost arrogant levels of confidence right there, Pike.
Yeah, honestly, you bang on. It sort of felt like D-Ray's really trying to send a message to Shawnee. And I think D-Ray's mindset was like, oh, Histo's going to be here in just a second. Maybe I can make a quick play and get the kill. And then Histo's going to be here for the backup. And it was just slightly off. So D-Ray just a little bit ahead of the bullet there. But still, we can look at the lay of the land right now here, Logan. And it still is D-Ray with a very big lead, almost a 30 CS advantage over Shawnee. So yes, they may have died. They've only got one assist to their name. Shawnee's got 2 assists, but it's still a solid lead, especially at the 8-minute mark with Void Grubs are up and available.
Yeah, they did eke out such a significant gold lead that even giving the 2 kills over with that first blood bonus, it's still only about a 250 gold difference between both of them. And you have a look at Guri, he's putting in so much work because he got those 2 kills. He's 15 CS up and over Histo right now. So most of that gold is in the jungle of MVK. So I really need to see Guri convert this lead into objectives and into kills. And as we say it, he is there on those grubs. He wants to secure that extra pushing power for MVK, and right now he's uncontested, but we do see Histo roaming bot. If they could get something on the bot side.
Ooh, but no, look at Eddie as well. No matter, here's the Realm Orb 2. They're sending 4 for this. They want to look for it as they're looking for a Dragon's Rage. Histo already getting stunned up, slowed up. Slowed is all that they sort of wrote. And D-Ray now has to back out. So they've used the Realm Orb, but it's just not enough. And they've given up so much for an aggressive play that came up with nothing.
Yeah, frankly, they absolutely botched that bot side dive. They committed so much for it that it gave Shawnee free access to that mid-tier 1 turret, getting that crystalline growth. Pun basically being the only one not on the bot side, able to push the wave in and seal coach comms coming through. I have to imagine it's got to be something along the lines of chill, guys. Like, we need to respect these opponents. We can't be playing like this. We need to be smarter about our dives because the gold lead that they once had is currently gone. Yes, they have a CS advantage in almost every lane, but Guri right now is everywhere doing everything he can to keep MVK alive, and it's working. I just think Team Secret Whales need to respect MVK a bit more. But if we do take a quick look around the map, that vision control, which is so critical as well here, Pike, it's all through the river, right? MVK have a lot of it on that bot side river, whereas Team Secret Whales, have it on the bot side river. MVK have it on the top side river because right now it's 20 seconds to the second Drake of the game. And I have to imagine MVK are going to go for it as soon as possible. That's their style.
Yeah, look, potentially, I think what we've already seen so far is Secret Whales already know that Vikings want to go for the Dragons, so maybe they're playing a little bit of 4-dimensional chess and they're saying, well, we know you want to go for the Dragons early, so we're going to go for them earlier and have more priority, so then you're forced to go do something else elsewhere. So maybe there's more layers to this than we usually lay on here, Logan, because at the same time, it's Histo, first one to the Dragon as it spawns.
Yeah, this is exactly what they did for the first Drake as well. And MVK, they see this, they're pinging it, they know that their vision has been cleared out, so his toe has to be here. Team Secret Whales are responding though. 4 members in the area, Hex Flash over the wall from BA, just to be like, hey Guri, you better back up, we have that numbers advantage. And there it is, second Drake secured for Team Secret Whales. They are currently beating MVK at their own game, despite being down 2-1 in the kills right now. So items though, they're coming through. We see Guri with that Cyclosword because he has been, juiced up.
I love that the Cyclosword is what makes you juiced in this day and age. It's always nice to have a Cyclosword and be like, yeah, I'm real juiced right now. I got my greens in there, got a little bit of apple, pineapple. The juice is good. But no, you're right. I think Guri having that slight lead, we do have the Sundered Sky over there on his toe too, so a little bit of survivability in these fights is always going to be nice, especially when they are looking for these big dives, and his toe is looking down. Oh, finds Haki sleeping a little bit, but they do just get out. Dragon's Rage was used, so that is on a cooldown. Guri is also here just covering, but it is going to delay that back, so the tempo has just been lost a little bit for Haki.
Yeah, but I really did like the reaction time from Shulong there. Saw his toe go in on Haki, and Shulong came over the wall with that Braum E, I believe it is, to protect Haki and reduce that damage. That Dragon's Rage, I feel like his toe was looking for a different angle, because the one that we got felt a little bit strange, just kicking him back towards their tower, back towards safety. But Pun has managed to eke out nearly a 1-level lead against Kratos, like nearly a full-blown level here, as the top laners are also securing their first items of their game. So, you know, that Titanic Hydra, which is such an effective wave-clearing tool for Shen, fantastic pickup.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it sort of speaks volumes to what they're sort of looking to do, and you just said it. It is hard shove, then roam, use that ultimate to get out of the dodge, but now we're starting to see his toe moving a little bit up towards this top side as lane swaps are coming through. We're seeing it is Pun and Kratos down in this bot side now as well. They're sort of swapping it around, they're trying to mix it up, and at least now it feels like it is Secret Whales a little bit more back in that tempo sort of state where they're trying to make these proactive plays, and this is it. Shorty getting caught out. What the? Empress Divide back over the wall, you just kept him alive. What was that?
Sometimes it happens, you know, sometimes you're just like, look, stay away from me, you can live, here's my ult, and away to safety. It was a very sort of pacifist play, that one from Shawnee, being like, I've got my Nash's Tooth, I just want to make sure I don't die, I'm happy if you don't as well, just a trade of an ult, as we do see Haki let rip with that Ezreal ult there. So now, if we do take a quick look at the ult diff, Team Secret Whales, they have every single ult, right? They could get Realm Warp, they could get Pun to appear anywhere that he wants as well. However, Kratos, Shawnee, and Haki, they don't have theirs right now, and Seal, the second coach com for Team Secret Whales, has already come through, because we're 14 minutes into this game. There's no gold diff right now. The Rift Herald is up in a minute, and the next Drake in 2. I'm waiting for this stalemate to break wide open.
I guess this is where you sort of talk about it now, Logan. It's like, who do you think's going to really take this one? You got 3 Void Grubs on the Vikings, you got 2 Dragons on Secret Whales, so maybe there's going to be this big fight over the Rift Herald that we used to call in days of old, where they might look for something as BA lands a hook. Let's see if it's going to be enough if the Glacial Fissure does go out. Big wall is very hard for Eddie to get through, even with that Kraken already picked up. It's such a difficult one to snap.
Exactly. It's so difficult there, as we do see the play sort of peter out and Guri just contesting for vision, because again, MVK, I mean, I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but it is so synonymous. It is so atypical of MVK to go for the objectives on spawn. So they've got the vision, they've got the priority, but Team Secret Whales, they're answering.
Yeah, they're looking for a little bit of a one, as it is going to be a 5.5k. Eddie just took a big chunk of damage, but it's Vikings actually sort of backing off. Maybe they don't want to look for this fight. Rift Herald should reset here, but maybe they just take it that fast and it's just gone well off, but a nice pickup for the Vikings.
Yeah, good play from MVK. They got in early. They got the vision control down. They knew the angles that Team Secret Wales were coming from, and they started up that Rift Herald confident in the damage Guri was able to do. And with those 2 lethality items in his pocket, he chunked Eddie for, I want to say 30 to 40, 60%. Wow. 30 to 40% of his health bar. And that almost takes him out of the fight. Team Secret Wales, they were a bit slower. They didn't bring as many members as well. So I feel like MVK were always going to win that Rift Herald. And Eddie still only has that Kraken Slayer for the moment. Still not able to really do a lot of damage when his front line of Pun isn't there to sort of create space for him as well.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing, and Eddie's going to really come online. Very similar timing to Ezreal, who now has the Triforce, but only a Kraken completed for Eddie means that they're still waiting for that Ginsu's. They're still waiting for a little bit more, but Dragon on spawn being started up by Histo, just keeping that good security and good vision in the enemy jungle on bot side. So Histo's looking at this, but here comes Guri, here comes Zulong. BA is here. Rift Herald's already been summoned mid. They're looking to open up this tower, but I think Dragon, again, it is going to be Secret Wales taking it all the way to Soul Point at 16.5 minutes, and it was Vikings who didn't just secure the tower. They've just broken it just enough for one good push. Might be enough, Logan.
I always love these cross-map players, right? These strategic... Oh, Eddie.
Ooh. Okay, Hook's going wide. They're seeing if they can let a little bit more, but Eddie is going to be able to back out, and they do secure that tower in mid. It's now a 1.3k gold lead to Vikings. What was a soul point for Secret Wales is looking pretty good for the Vikings now.
I was going to say, I really like the cross-map play, right? It's almost becoming very, very expected that when the Drake comes down, you play the Rift Herald and it gets that priority, it gets that pressure in the mid lane, and then you're able to convert that over to the Drake. But Team Secret Wales, they got to the Drake so fast that... Oh, another fight.
More Pun up on this top side. Guri getting jumped on too is going to be enough. Is this all too much? Pun able to pick up the kill. The shield is good, but is it going to keep them alive long enough? Yes, it will. Histo using one last shield gets them there. It is a nice pickup for Secret Wales. Empress Divine on the bot side. They're looking at D-Ray. Gets a big shield to see if they can back out fast enough. But no, it's actually Pun looking to sweep in from top side. They're dangerously low. You need to keep them alive as the Ghost has been popped for D-Ray. And it is Secret Wales still coming up with the goods of that play.
The just absolute confidence on Pun. He was already low from that top side fight, and then he goes to bot side to try and make sure D-Ray survives, as we do get to see this top side again. It's 1v1, it's Kratos versus Pun, but we do see Guri get here first. Histo, however, able to get over the wall, and Pun just secures Guri. It's so close. Even with that Haki ult over the top, it's not enough damage to turn that fight in the favor of MVK. And Team Secret Wales chip away at that gold lead that MVK had just started to grow. It had just started to become something meaningful. And Team Secret Wales go, no, it cannot get away from us. We need to do something now to keep this game close and in contention. But we do see Pun. He's going to chip away at this topside tier 1, and a lot of pings coming down in the jungle of MVK, because the Baron's up in a minute. The next Drake, this could be Soul for Team Secret Wales, is 2.5 minutes away. So now it's so important for Team Secret Wales to maintain control. They need to be first, I dare say, to the Baron and the Drake, because MVK, that Baron is such an important way for them to start to take over this game, to give them that sieging power that they need to break open Team Secret Wales' tier 2s.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I think the Baron is going to be this next big call, but 2 minutes on a drag. Vikings know how big this would be for Secret Wales. I think one thing that scares me in particular with the Secret Wales roster right now is if they have extra movement speed, how do you catch them? How do you catch Eddie's Kai'Sa? How do you catch Pun, who has dashes? How do you catch Histo's Lee Sin, where you can dart around? You're going to be nigh uncatchable. Those shock blasts are just not going to be able to hit, because they're just going to be able to dodge it just with a simple click. But we'll have to see where it is going to go, as True Shot Barrage does go out just to try and steal the scuttle, but not stolen.
steal the scuttle, like they're trying to steal my heart here in the LCP, because these plays, these games, they've got me all excited to see how they are going to turn out. Team Secret Wales find themselves in an advantageous position when it comes to the Drakes, which is something MVK is not used to. They're the ones who are usually taking all of these jungle objectives. They did get the Rift Herald, they did get the Grubs, but will they get the Baron? Will they stop Team Secret Wales from getting the Soul? We won't know for another minute. But MVK, they're posturing, they're gathering around in the mid, but there is a cheeky ward from Team Secret Wales there that will spot out a lot of what they want to do. They're having to hook away just to make sure he stays safe here. Meanwhile, D-Ray is trading with Kratos in that top lane, confident his damage is enough to push him away. And this is the fight for vision control. Team Secret Wales want all of the control here and now to make sure that they can get this Soul for themselves. And it's up to MVK. Do we contest this Drake or do we go for this Baron?
Look, that's the thing. Maybe you flip it, right? Maybe you give over the single dragon here to the Vikings and instead go for the actual Baron, which you can already see. They're pinging topside. It is going to be Histo saying, let's go for Baron. We don't need this dragon right now. It's just one for them. But Kratos read them like a book and said, this is a picture book, because called that they were on it. Histo just took a True Shot Barrage as well, so that's already quite a bit lower. Dragon has spawned and Vikings are now all over it. Hook goes out, so does Drangela. Let's see if it's enough damage as Glacial Fissure is used. TP's now as well, but it's dead. They're going back onto the Baron. They're looking for the flip. It's the call here, Logan. Let's see. Histo's pretty low. Won't be able to survive too much longer without those shields. A little bit of healing as well. Let's see if they do have the smite available as Kratos is coming up. Histo incredibly low. One shot could be the end. He flashes over the wall. Dira has to flash too. They're all looking for a little bit of survivability. Histo's getting jumped on. Ward hops out. Let's see if Dira is able to survive as well. They're quite low. Histo is not scared, but they snag the Baron on the back of a dragon picked up for Vikings.
And D-Ray not spotted in that brush right on the tail end of that fight. That was such a good call from Team Secret Wales. They're like, we've got 3 Drakes. We don't need this 4th one yet. We're going to take the Baron so you don't have it, and we're going to start to siege your base, because right now it's the same turrets on both sides, each with 2 apiece. As we go back to this fight, Team Secret Wales, they're posturing in mid. BA goes in with the hook, with the ult, and it's D-Ray who realm warps them over to the Baron, while the other 2 members of Team Secret Wales are posturing. They're delaying. They're acting as bouncers. And Histo starts his escape. So does D-Ray with these flashes. Such a heads-up ward hop there to get away from Kratos as well. So not only did they get the Baron, yes, they burnt their flashes, but they also got at least 1 flash out of MVK. So I would say that was a pretty good turn of play for Team Secret Wales, Pike, as we do see them sieging up this bot side tier 2, 1 member of MVK in at least every single lane. They're really trying to maximize the value of this Baron. 1.5 minutes left, and they're nearly at 2k already.
Well, that's the crazy thing, is this Baron pick is actually their gold lead right now. Everything that's come off this Baron has led to Secret Wales taking up a little bit more. It's a 1,500 gold Baron play for 1,400 gold lead. And now the final coach comms coming through for Secret Wales. They've clearly got a plan. They know they've got the Baron. They've got a bit of space to move around. But the real ticker on the clock is 3 minutes on the next Dragon. This is where we will see Secret Wales really put down the hurt. But the difference is, will it be Vikings with the items, with the damage to be able to convert it into another dragon for themselves and stop the Soul?
Yeah, there are so many completed items now. The Black Cleavers, the Dusk and Dawns, the Nash's Tooths, the Proto Belts, the Trinity Forces, the Shield of the Solari, even for that extra protection coming out of Shulong on that Braum. So the next big fight, which as you said, will be in 2.5 minutes, it will be for that Soul for Team Secret Wales and MVK. They're going to need to have to prevent them from getting it. Like, they're playing so carefully right now. They're in their own jungle and they're carefully pulling this red buff to make sure Team Secret Wales can't get it, because they don't have the vision control right now. That is Team Secret Wales' jungle. They're the ones with all of the vision control in that bot side MVK jungle. And their Baron push will end at 2,500. Oh, Eddie, you cannot be hit by those shock blasts. That was about 50% of his health. And that's all it takes. That's MVK's way to win these fights. One shock blast on a squishy member of Team Secret Wales and they're out of the fight, and it's suddenly a 4v5.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, if we look at the scores of how much gold has sort of gone over to each side, Guri had a 2k gold lead. Wow, the damage is phenomenal, but I'm still going to talk about this gold lead because it's basically down to about 500-600 now. Histo in a bit of a pickle, not being caught out by Sulong just yet, but it is Histo really wanting these Krugs. Like, you really got to want something that bad, but oh, Hex Flash into a hook, not going to land.
Yeah, and poke is not the same. Eddie is not going to have the same level of poke that Haki is going to have right now. Eddie's poke is also not as bad as the shock blast coming out of Guri. If that thing hits you, sayonara, good night. So I like the ranged advantage that MVK has for themselves right now. But if Team Secret Wales can find a way into that melee range, it's going to be really, really hard for MVK to answer. And this is what we've talked about all game. It's that vision control, right? It's Team Secret Wales pushing the waves in, getting that priority. Pun just has so much more wave clear right now than Kratos that he's able to get that advantage. And Team Secret Wales, they're trying to get that vision control around this all-important Drake because it's up in 20 seconds and they've got that mid priority. They've got the bot and the top. They're very well positioned to get to this first in about 15 seconds, Pike. But MVK, they know the game. They have to at least get one pushing lane.
Yeah, and putting up that passive there for the Azir is always really nice to be able to sort of stifle out this bot side push. But also at the same time, you're right. Dragon is up. It's already been started up by the Vikings. They want to be here, but the vision control out of Secret Wales is incredible. The ward hops are going to be massive. Histo's now posturing so aggressively, forcing the TP. The Stand United is available out of the Shen. The Dragon resets, and this is where the big one is. Histo, a one-man army standing in the Dragon pit, trying to face off against a Viking horde, and it is going to go over to the Vikings. They pick it up. They're able to lock down one. The Empress Divide hits on Tring. Is it going to be enough damage as Eddie is now coming in to blast through? Let's see if it's going to be enough. It's a double kill. Is it going to be good damage? But now it is Eddie on the backside doing so much. Pun able to pick up Shorty. The Realm Mob's going to take Eddie for a ride, and now is Pun dashing over the wall. He picks up two. Kratos is all alone. No mana in the boat. But is it going to be enough? As now Kratos is able to get a life. They're just so tanky. And then Pun just TPs up topside.
Pun knew it. I saw him. He was getting ready to recall and then ult, but instead he cancelled it and he ulted over to the Dragon Pit. It felt a little late, but it still proved to be so valuable, and he kept that TP for himself, which is what we got to see there and force the wave in. We see it's already a 4v5 here. Kratos TPs a lot earlier than Pun did, which gives them the numbers advantage. It secures them the Drake. It prevents Team Secret Wales from getting that soul. Such a fantastic Emperor's Divide there coming through from Shawnee. It buys MVK so much time. But back in live, Team Secret Wales just got themselves the second Baron of the game. And Pun was in the back of this pit doing so much damage. MVK felt like they could potentially ignore him while they took out the rest of Team Secret Wales, but he cleaved everyone. He was the single highest damage dealer in that fight. So I felt like Pun was late, but Pun clearly knew a lot better than me, Pike.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, now that they've picked up the Baron, all 5 members have it strong again. The gold lead now is sitting at 5k for Secret Wales after losing a dragon. Like, that doesn't happen all that often, unfortunately, here, Logans. But to see Secret Wales still holding on and still saying, okay, we might not have got that objective, let's just go get the next one. It's up and ready to go. A champion we need to now look at and really highly talk about here, Logan, it is Eddie on this Kai'Sa. They've just picked up an IE. That is a 4-item crit Kai'Sa. That is going to be doing so much damage, especially with the IE now being picked up. They're going to be able to melt through this Kratos. I wouldn't be surprised if they start to look for some sort of armor penetration where they could actually just blast through. But a Phantom Dancer does a pretty good job with just getting attacks off.
And another item that I really want to draw attention to is Pun. He's actually picked up 2 support items, but the Knight's Vow, which actually got buffed on this patch, right? So the damage redirection has increased from 12 to 14%, and the heal share has gone from 10 to 12%. So some significant numbers that he's clearly valuing this surprisingly tanky, high damage support build Shen. I just love the utility that they've gone for as D-Ray pressuring Kratos. They're spreading this Baron buff around. They're trying to get priority. They're trying to get pressure in every single lane, get as much value as they can out of this one, because all 5 members, they still... Guri just... Man, I will never get over just a shock blast doing 50% of someone's health, because it's always so shocking to see that one hit. But we take a look at the map. The vision control is all Team Secret Whales. It is in MVK's jungle. MVK, they almost have no wards up right now because Team Secret Whales are clearing so effectively.
I don't think Pun's taking really any damage as he does get hit with an Emperor's Divide. The stand United is going to get cancelled out. It was the Glacial Fissure. It is a huge shutdown for Guri, who picks up that kill. What a disaster for the side of Secret Whales. Pun just got caught out.
Yeah, I like that he altered after the Emperor's Divide, but Shulong was just there at the right time, right? Able to Glacial Fissure, able to interrupt that ultimate to prevent Pun from escaping and chip away at that gold lead. Because you have a look at Pun, 3,500, basically all of Team Secret Whales' gold lead is in the top laner of Pun on that Shen. So that's a really nice pickup there for MVK. And this speaks to that aggression that we saw coming out of them earlier. It speaks to that confidence, right? Is that they still need to play respectfully. They still need to remember that MVK are our 3rd seed here in the LCP. They're also of the VCS. They're not someone to be sort of trifled with, as Histo has a deep flank angle here, Pike, and the Guardian Angel, so can afford a cheeky death if he's able to take someone out and give Team Secret Whales the advantage. It'll be interesting to see how he wants to use this one. D-Ray, though, will be spotted.
Yeah, caught on a lot of vision, walking in the wrong place. But here comes Histo, looking for some more, but was Kratos as well, looking for the TP. There's the depth charge. They're looking to go onto it now, looking for the kick. Emperor's Divide, it's only one, but it's going to be enough damage. And look at Haki, he's just been blown up by Eddie straight onto the back line. It is just all too much. It is Secret Whales, the Realm Warp, to get them to the tower, to bring the minions. They want to close out this game right now. It was the flick of the switch that you mentioned at the start of the game here, Logan. It's all it takes, and they are so tanky. They have so much health that they can just tank it up. Histo has no care. He's got GA. He can just survive, and it is going to be these towers dropping left, right, and center. Kratos is only one left to arrive, and Secret Whales just flick it on like it is nothing and take game 1 in his best of 5.
I love how quick that just went from, oh, we're in the middle of the game to, well, they just won the game. Because this game was so back and forth, right? MVK, it felt like they secured themselves that sort of early to mid-range lead. At one stage, they were up about 1.5k gold. And then Team Secret Whales started to chip away at it. Team Secret Whales started to beat them at their own game. They got all of the Drakes. They let MVK have that 4th Drake so they could get the Baron. Team Secret Whales with both of the Barons as well. It felt like they beat MVK at their own game at every single step, and I just love that last fight, Pike. It was like, oh, yep, middle of the game, and suddenly, oh, it's over.
This, if I can just say, Logan, this is the first time in maybe my entire time casting the LCP where we were actually seeing a very different type of game. Yes, there was a lot of damage, but there wasn't many kills. I don't even know what like the full kill count actually came up to, but I think it was like 11 in total. Like, this was not a huge kill game. This is making me think, like, is Secret Whales on that par to start looking at what the LCK sort of teams play like? Is they play slow, methodical, they wait for their time to actually be able to turn on a dime, and that's what we saw Secret Whales just do in a game 1 best of 5. If they keep this momentum and say we can hold on a little bit longer and just wait, and then pull a trigger and just blow them out of the water, I am really excited to see this team head to MSI if this is the level that they're starting to play at. Vikings put up one hell of a show, though.
Yeah, Team Secret Whales, though, they'll need to dial in their early game if they definitely intend to compete at the MSIs, because I think better teams would have taken a lot more advantage. They would have been able to get that lead and snowball it and run away with the game. But because it was Team Secret Whales, they were able to give over the early game, weather the storm, and come back in that late game, as you say. And it was only 15 kills in this game. It was 5 to MVK, 10 to Team Secret Whales. So essentially 3 team fights, if you think about it in terms of aces. And I almost have to think that for me, the player of this game, this particular one, was Pun. I know he had a quiet start to the game, but he was just in the right places at the right time. And the damage he did, it was significant damage. It was valuable damage. It wasn't wasted, if you will. It was effective. Even in these team fights, he's in the back of this pit and he is cleaving all of MVK.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was a really big testament. Pun showing the versatility again of the champions they can pull out. I think the Shen pick was really, really strong into the Scion. Usually we see like the Veins go up against it, but this meta isn't really made too well for sort of like these AD carry top laners anymore. They did sort of get a little bit of a nerf. So I think it was a smart call to pull out the Shen and say, okay, we can just full commit to a little bit more of a, we'll commit to these big team fights. So really nice to see some versatility out of Pun. Let's see the Volley Bear next game just for a little bit of fun. Then we'll bring in the set for game number 3 and just get showstoppers everywhere. That's what we want. But I think you're right though. Secret Whales, they just need to clean up that early game. I don't think particularly they were nervous about that early game. I think they knew exactly what they were going for. They put the pressure on the Dragons and then they said, we've got the advantage. We can just flip these and not worry. Like, they still need to get 4 more dragons when we're sitting on 3. So maybe they had this mentality of maybe we need to start flipping the script of how we play and keep people guessing.
Yeah, and they did it so well. But enough about the game that was. After this break, we'll get to the game that will be, because here in the LCP, we're made for this.
Here's an overview of how Coach Comms works. Each team may assign 1 coach per game, submitted with the starting roster. Coaches can be changed between games. Only a head coach, assistant coach, or analyst is eligible. Sub-players are not allowed. Use of the Coach Comms is optional. Here's how Coach Comms operates during matches. The coach is placed in an isolated room, wearing a soundproof headset to ensure competitive integrity. They may only view the 5-player POVs on stage. No live stream, spectator mode, or external devices are permitted. Each team has 3 Coach Comms uses per game, with 45 seconds per use. Unused users do not carry over. After all users are exhausted, the coach may leave the room. If they leave early, they cannot return. Team members not participating will have access to standard spectator mode for post-game review. Coach Comms has received positive feedback from teams and fans and adds an additional strategic layer to the game. The feature will be reviewed at the end of Split 2. Stay tuned for more updates.
Em nghĩ team em có thể đứng trong top LCP. Team em khá là đoàn kết với lại sức trẻ nữa, càng đánh càng hay. Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MSI.
Tới sẽ cho máy tập và thế giới thì họ rất là mạnh, thì tụi em cũng là sẽ cố đặt niềm tin vào nhau để có thể mạnh ra server những lần trước.
Off the map, they do get the Rift Herald. The flash encore! It's just complete flag and drag follow up.
Chúng tôi là thời đại mới của LCP.
The mountain charging forward, Doggo is the target. Artemis is getting some damage off. Yeah.
khi bước lên thì bọn mình cần phải đánh với tâm thế nó đầu tiên phải là tự tin đã, và nó cái tâm lý nó thật là thoải mái, thì khi đó thì bọn mình sẽ đánh đúng với thực lực của mình.
因为我们现在成绩不算特别好，但是我们进季后赛，我觉得我们也能像G2一样一下课上。
这场比赛对于 SUG 接下来有点痛苦，能不能及时开团来？魅惑没清到，并肩也没中，竟然全空。纳尔能不能推一首歌唱起2重之后，佛教猛击将2人给推在墙边，这无限的控制。A 秒飞秒，还好 AB 滑了进去，换掉对面辅助。这弹幕一次刷，刷了还不少人，而且 Bubble 伤害是有的。这西达伤害其实是很高哦。现在角度来说，尼塔这里突然一个闪现的后面降临。 他们来盖住了右边没有闪现的 Area 就在竞技场里面死了，而有天使甲的他们来可以卖，在天甲站起来的瞬间，滴滴想要选择先把塔给推掉，此时站起来的他们来没有选择后面的进场，一次 Q1Q 起了3个人 ，T6 给到了 Florence， 此时应该有人在大喊偏塔，但没有了。
một cái tháo thiên ly và một cái búa gỗ đã có trên người, rút về được với việc là trả lại một tốc biến. Bây giờ chính sẽ đông là kẹt, sẽ đầu tốc biến chạy đi, có gió trả ra để cover cho Shadow nhưng có vẻ như đường về nhà là xa quá, chặn lục nó bùng nổ đấy không về được Shadow. Mạng thành cho chiếc của Haki đánh tiếp lên thêm MVK thôi, quá nhiều lần thế rồi. Giữa chân của sân của Dogo yếu máu, Haki vẫn đang ném, năng lượng là thấp nhưng vẫn là đủ để trả ra một W dứt điểm đi, double kill dành cho chiếc của Haki. Một mình Kino chạy nhưng con mèo này thì chạy đi đâu và đó là một tình huống làm 4 đến từ biệt của MVK.
第7局连续的康普都没有命中，但弗拉瑞交出闪现奖将给人给缓下，没有成功。此时目标要转下 AD 的同时，被一往前，他们是风是直接往前开始滑，他根本不管后排连续的输出，名声裁决下来，但 AB 是控到完全抓不到后排，风就这么拿了个 triple， 他搭了巴德尔，再过来一个空中电击打下了 quadra kill。
Chỉ cần có một người ở bên phía Sebo bị bắt lấy thôi thì nó sẽ là 10.000 tiền. Bảo đây, bị gì tới, bị giữ lại bởi cái không thể lay chuyển, bị úp vào tường. Và bây giờ Sini đã tiếp cận trói lại với Lysandra, có lượt ở chiều cuối ở một ăn bằng. Đánh tường thì là đủ để kết liễu bào và đây sẽ là điểm gục dành cho Sini, không thể ngăn cản Sini.
We're back for Game 2 of tonight's Best of 5 series between Team Secret Whales and MVK Esports in this knockout stage. We do find ourselves in Week 2. It's no longer single elim, it's double. So if you lose here tonight, you go down to the lower bracket where you have another chance to fight your way up to that all-important grand final. And quite frankly, Pike, I think both teams here have shown they have the tools to be able to get there. Team Secret Whales already locked in for MSI, still obviously want the honor, the pride of taking that grand final. But MVK, if they win, if they can beat Team Secret Whales and get one step closer to that grand final, they could be crowned champions and they could possibly go to MSI.
Yeah, you're right. Both teams really do have tools in their belt. One of these teams is actually a pickaxe. The other one is a hammer, because what it means is the Vikings were the pickaxe, where they made some dints, they got some damage off, but at the end of the day, the hammer just absolutely obliterated towards the end, and it was Secret Whales, like you said, taking that game 1. And now heading into game 2, they must be feeling pretty confident because they know at any moment they can turn these games around, because it was such a close one right up until the game ended.
Yeah, it was close until it wasn't, and it wasn't when Team Secret Whales decided it wasn't going to be any longer. So I really liked that coming out of them. They just decided, nope, here it is. We win this fight. We win this game from here. That Realm Warp from D-Ray to accelerate that process, get over Kratos on that Scion. He was desperately trying to prevent any more minion waves getting into the base, but unfortunately there was still a cannon minion in tow. And yeah, we saw it. Team Secret Whales able to close that one out convincingly. But this one, a bit more interesting because MVK, they're normally the early aggressors. They're normally the jungle objective chasers. But this time we saw Team Secret Whales do it. So we saw a different style of play from both of these teams. And they were both able to kind of go the distance. MVK... They prevented Team Secret Whales from closing them out too quickly, right? And that in and of itself is still a minor victory.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's about the prioritization of where they were putting their focus, and it was the Vikings heading up towards that top side. They got the grubs, but they weren't able to really do anything with it because Secret Whales were just constantly pushing them in and sort of getting those early rotations too. And that is the power of a Shen with a Titanic Hydra, a Rise as well. No one's really out shoving that. A Kaiser too can just hard clear waves. It's definitely one of those things where it felt like Secret Whales really read their draft and knew exactly how they wanted to play. But we're in a game number 2 now, Logan. Draft is started up. We got the bans on the board: Nocturne, Seraphine, Karma, Lucian.
I think Lucian ban is always a good time, right? Because Lucian has definitely come up in priority. He's definitely been paired a lot more with Milio than he has with Nami lately, because I think people are learning that Lucian Nami is no longer one of the go-to bot lane duos. It's now Lucian Milio, which I think a lot of people have known for a long time, but it's never really been in the, I want to say, meta. It's never been in the social consciousness of players. So it's great to see it coming up. That Varus ban, I almost feel like Varus and Nocturne are going to be permanently banned here away from MVK. And I'm seeing that they've banned Seraphine again, right? And we spoke about in that game 1 how powerful Seraphine is on her own, but also paired up with that Ashe. So I almost expect we're seeing the same 3 bans that we're going to see every single game here coming out of Team Secret Whales as they secure that Cassiopeia for themselves. She's really risen in priority lately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think she's got such a strong game presence as well. Like, you get the miasma where you have that area of effect. You do have the petrifying gaze. It's going to be able to do a lot in these team fights too. But the Akali is a really nice matchup into it. It's really strong. It's what you usually pick into the Orianna, so makes sense. You get that nice shroud going. You can sort of dodge out quite a bit, but it comes down to how dominant and how much pressure you get from your junglers too. That's the next big pressure question is, does Shawnee and Guri tee up once again? But they're now looking at the Jhin being picked up second, which, I don't know, that could spell a little bit disaster. We're in a bit more of a tank support meta right now here, Logan. So I worry about how the lack of mobility out of this Jhin could be the big question. But J4 is up, and it makes so much sense. Even with a Maokai, there's a lot of engage and a lot of fight going on here too.
And I really do like fighty compositions. Fighty compositions are what we live and breathe for here in the LCP, right? So like Akali, very aggressive. Jhin wants to sit back. So I'm interested to see how MVK is going to build out this roster into the likes of what Team Secret Whales is putting against them, because that's a J4. J4 don't care about no front line. J4 is going to go flag and drag Cataclysm onto your back line, and Jhin is just stuck. So unless you've got Flash, you're as good as dead, because then Misfortune is going to lay that bullet time over the top and sayonara. But a Mumu here being hovered right now, Pike, this could be an interesting pick.
Oh, the Camille being picked up. Now, the big question with that Camille is, does it go into the support role? Is that a potential solution? But we'll have to wait and see, as it can still go top. It can still be a bit of a bully. But yeah, I kind of like this. There's a lot going on. The Misfortune being picked up as well for Eddie is going to be really nice, paired with your champions like your Rel, Alistair as well, like these sort of big engages. Seraphine's off the board, which is another really strong one you can sort of throw around. But right now, the team fight out of Secret Whales is looking really strong. Front to back, good engage, a lot of slows and sort of disabling them. But I'm looking at the explosiveness again out of Vikings, and we know these teams love to be fast paced. And with Vikings now on red side, tells me they're going to be looking at these dragons pretty heavily.
Yeah, they didn't like what happened in game one when they were on the blue side. They weren't able to get around to those jungle objectives, in part because blue side, but also because MVK just stifled them out. They beat them to them. They know their game. As we see, Skarner banned away as well. They don't like Team Secret Wales having Skarner being able to answer a lot of what MVK wants to do. But I like the Vayne ban as well, because that protects their top lane. It tells me that Pun wants to go very, very aggressive in that top, be able to trade heavily into whatever it is that Kratos is going to pick up, which I think is that maybe Camille. We have seen Camille in support though, but surely that's going to be a top lane Camille.
Look, it makes a lot of sense to put it in the top lane. I'm not sure how well it actually pairs up with the Jhin. Kha'Zix being hovered here is a fun little aggressive jungler to put into the mix, but haven't really seen Kha'Zix all too heavy in the meta of late. So we'll have to see if they do decide to lock that in, but Wukong, the Monkey King, makes a lot more sense.
I was going to say exactly that. I completely agree with you. It just makes so much more sense. That Cyclone, a really good tool to fend off those engages, right? J4 Cataclysm's in, you Cyclone, and you've wasted your Cataclysm. You're CC'd. You can't actually get the damage down onto your target. So a great defensive tool, but also an excellent engage tool, because MVK, it doesn't feel like they have overly much engage or non-committal engage here in their draft so far, but a Jax picked up. We've seen Pun on Jax before. He can be a monster.
Yeah, look, 100%, and it's one of those side lane bullies that can do a lot, but it's the same for Camille. There's the rel that I teetered on just before as well. I love this combination that Secret Wales are pulling out. Their team comp just speaks volumes to controlling the fight, and it's all going to be on BA to really pull the trigger too. Yes, you're going to see Histo be able to do a lot, but once that Cataclysm's down, I'm expecting a lot more. And a Rek'Sai being picked up, so it is the Camille support with a Rek'Sai top. Ooh!
We said it before, MVK, they love to cook. Now, have they cooked a little too hard? Only time will tell. But this is an exciting draft. This is MVK. You never know what to expect against them. We were talking about the Camille, right? We're like, is it top? Is it support? Now we know it's going to be in support. That Rek'Sai in the top lane, 0% picks, 0% ban. So we haven't even seen that here in the LCP yet. So this is Kratos pulling something from the Shadow Isles, something that no one has seen or knows about just yet. So I'm very excited to see this one get onto the Rift and how it plays into Pun on that Jax, right? Because Pun is no slouch of a top laner. He surprised us all with his volley, all with his set last split. And we're yet to see him do that again with these explosive picks, but he's still so good on these more regular picks. And how is the Sion going to play into that?
I don't know how you said Rek'Sai came from the Shadow Realm when it's clearly the Void here, Logan. That is the big difference. Been pulled out of the Void. We're going back a couple seasons just to see a little bit more Rek'Sai in this top side. So you're right. I think the Rek'Sai is a bit of an interesting one where when you start getting into those more skirmishes around objectives, being able to tunnel down and you get that burrow is going to be really, really important because you'll be able to see who's moving around. Tracking the enemy when they've got good control over the vision is going to be really detrimental to how Vikings want to move around these games. So we've got a little bit of a pause here. Something's going on, Vikings. What are you doing, guys? Come on. But no, let's talk more about this comp because I think it's really interesting. And you talked about Pun in this top side on this Jax. I don't think Pun's going to have that much of a problem. The difference is how can Pun escalate the game a little bit faster in their way and be really strong. They had that awesome game on Shen game 1. Now it's about how can we get this Jax ahead so that they can be a side lane menace because you will have a lot of response from the Vikings.
So much response from the Vikings, especially with that Akali. Akali, that AP melee powerhouse, such a strong threat at all times, able to just get into those backlines. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people forget or underestimate is that Akali has a lot of backline access, right? She can pretty much pick out any target she wants. And I'm expecting to see some creative angles from Shawnee here to be able to get even more access, right? Like, I think Team Secret Wales, they're ready for normal play. They're ready for that sort of front to back, that traditional posturing. But we saw it in game one where they actually pulled a pincer maneuver onto MVK and MVK collapsed. And I have to think that if you're watching back the gameplay of your opponents, that you see these interesting engages. You see these not front to back fights and you go, ooh, we could do that with this particular draft, right? You put Jin in the back, you make him safe, and you've got Rek'Sai frontlining, Akali coming from the back. It's almost like I'm almost building my own fantasy league game here. I want to see Akali come from, the south side. I want to see Jin from the east and Camille from the north and just sandwich Team Secret Rails in the middle of them all. And then it comes down to hands diff, right? Because you've jumped them. You've got the surprise. You've got the advantage, and that's what MVK needs to get. They need to get any advantage they possibly can. As we get a camera shot there, I love the LCP, man. We have the best fans.
They're on it. I just love that the cameraman obviously is just like, yeah, this is a cool shot. Let's just catch these guys creeping out a little bit. And you know what? They got caught, and then they tried to hide the camera. Nah, we saw it. You're already on the big screen. So bit of a lull there, in my opinion. But okay, one thing you talked about the team fight, Logan. I want to bring it back to more like these solo fights too, because every time we see an Akali, no matter who it's up against, we're going to see that 15-minute mark. They're going to be in the bot lane, and Akali's going to full send, no matter who it is, onto that opponent. Like, it's most likely going to be this Cassiopeia. It's going to be this 1v1 fight. We see it every single time. Like, can I just make that prediction now that we're going to see it again?
Yeah, no, I think you made it. I think you committed to it. I definitely think we're going to see that one. But like Cassiopeia is such a strong laning mid, right? The miasma is just something that you have to respect. You have to play around. She's able to slow you. She's able to dot you. And more often than not, she's able to outrun you as well. No longer having that passive where she's not allowed to have boots. She can now have the boots and increase move speed. So she's also hard to get away from.
Yeah, no, 100%. They're probably going to go the Conqueror stack as well. That's going to be the next big sort of like thing you would probably talk about is once you get those stacks up, there's no more phase rush in the game. So you are going to be looking for that little bit more of a fight. Look, overall, we can keep teetering. We just want to get into this game. There's one thing that we haven't even touched on that we both need to talk about and we need to address. Camille support is back.
I love it. I love these mixed champs, right? MVK, they've brought out the Rek'Sai. MVK, they've brought out the Camille. And I really do think Camille is going to be able to do a lot of protection work for the Jhin, right? Going to be able to frontline, but also going to be able to engage you from surprisingly far away. Whenever I see Camille's, I'm like, how did they get that angle? For Noah's, they'll have seen Bin do some phenomenal Camille work, flashing in the midst of the hook, getting that extra distance to engage from farther away than you would expect, from angles that are just so creative that you can't practice into the sort of angles that a Camille is able to engage on you from, right? And so sometimes I think it's that lack of familiarity, that lack of practice into these champions that gives you that benefit, that gives you that edge. And I almost feel like that's what this Rek'Sai Camille pick is. It's you don't know these champs very well, or you haven't practiced into them lately, so you could be a little slow, you could be a little rusty, and we're going to try and use that advantage to beat you down.
Yeah, it's very similar. Sort of, it's Vikings basically saying we're going to change up the draft to throw you for a loop, and that's exactly what we saw the Whales doing in the first game, where they said we're going to change up our gameplay, so you're going to be thrown for a loop there and not know what's coming next. And they did it very well. Let's see if the Vikings can make that work too. So we still don't have any word on what is going on over in the LCP arena. Clearly, they're all looking at some computer on the Vikings, but you know what? I betcha he was playing Minecraft.
Minecraft, no, old school RuneScape, okay? OSRS. Yeah, that's and it doesn't take up too much computational power either.
Yeah, it does. If you're playing it on max graphics and you're only getting about 20 pixels, yeah, it's chewing up quite a lot there, Logan. You got to be careful with that one.
It's almost the classic, are you downloading in the background? And they're like, no, but I am playing like a live service online game that demands bandwidth at all times.
What's that clicking game that you usually play for, like, if you want to improve your click rate? It's like Osmo. I think it's Osmo. Osu, that's the one.
Osu. Yeah.
You're watching the LCK? No way. Wait, what?
What happened there? Watching the LCK while the LCP is... I mean, is there a better experience in the Big 26, though? Watching 2 Tier 1 leagues at the same time. I wish I could. Hang on, do I have the ability to fire up another league here right now?
There's nothing stopping us. If we can get our production to a... No, we should... No. We're on LCP. I was going to be like, let's just go shoot into LCK. No, we don't want to do that. We're here for a good time and a long time. That's absolutely you. We're still only in game 1 here. But no, okay. While we're waiting for this, Logan, let's get a prediction for how you think this game's going to go. Like, let's see what the next iteration is. Who's taking game 2?
Yeah, look, game 2 is going to be just as close as game 1 was, in my opinion. I think MVK, they're going to get what they want this time around. They're going to get their early jungle objectives. They're going to get some early Drake stacking. I think there's going to be competition around the Grubs and the Rift Herald, though. I think Team Secret Whales is more likely to get those this game around. I think First Blood will happen in the first, I want to say, 4 minutes of the game. But I do think the Team Secret Whales has... They've just got all the tools in the toolbox, right? They've got every piece of the puzzle, and they know how to put it together no matter what position of the game they're in, and I think they're going to take game 2. I think MVK will put up a great fight, but I think Team Secret Whales will take game 2. What about you, Pike?
Yeah, look, the second I called the Misfortune Rel, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be a Rel here. Like, this just makes the most sense. The second they locked that in, yeah, I was pretty happy with that because, yeah, you got a lot of true damage on this Camille. It's going to do a lot of damage too. Rek'Sai is a bit of a throw in the park, but it now comes down to how well can you pilot it. Sometimes when you are drafting and sometimes when you're playing League of Legends, the simpler, more straightforward gameplay your team has, the better. I feel like Vikings in this particular draft, yes, it's very mechanical. There's going to be some really cool plays. There's going to be some very flashy moves, but sometimes simple. That's like, you know my saying here, Logan, it's KISS. It's keep it simple, smarty pants. That's the difference. So I think the Whales have got a very simple pick here. That's what I'm looking for, and I love their comp as it is.
I definitely like the PG rated version of your KISS. Sometimes things done simple are the best. There's actually a pizza place right near where I used to live, and they were very simple pizzas, but they were done so phenomenally well that now we travel over 45 minutes just to get one of them because they're so good. And just like Team Secret Whales, they put together a simple, easy to execute draft, and they pilot it well, and we know that they can. And they should be able to put forward a really good fight. We do see MVK, though. MVK's draft is a bit trickier, right? Rek'Sai, not your traditional frontline tank. Wukong, going to have to go a bruiser build if he wants to be able to take a bit of that damage. And Camille is typically the one that you would expect to see in that top lane. So it's this harder to execute, more unusual draft that MVK has put together for themselves that they clearly think will work, that they clearly think that they can play out and are comfortable on because, hey, that's what they've done here in this best of 5 in our knockout stages tonight. And I mean, why not, right? Because if you lose tonight, you just go to the lower brackets. So you don't have everything on the line. Now's the time to try it.
Yeah, look, that's it. It's all about, for Secret Whales, it's asserting their dominance. It's a message to the rest of the teams in this league that we're not going to go quietly at all. For Vikings, it's we are here to be a representative and really step up a little bit more. So, like you said, regardless, either team, if one goes to the lower bracket, it's not the end of the world. It just means that they get to recover and play some more games. Better to have more practice than none, especially even in a lower bracket where the competition's just as good as the upper bracket. So regardless, really excited for it as we are about to get ready for the second game. It was a little bit of a tech pause, guys. We do apologize for that. We don't know the exact specifications. I still think his Minecraft bugged. Or maybe they were doing something a little bit different. At the same time, when I'm trying to get those bees in Minecraft, it's a bit of a nightmare. Really, certain biomes, you don't know where you're going. I never get a compass because you know what? I don't play by those rules, Logan. I just don't do it. But we're getting ready for game number 2. We know and hope that Secret Wales are probably going to take this game, but I think there is a lot of hope for the Vikings. I think if they can get online early, like you talk about, if they can get around these dragons, they can make it work, and I'm excited to see them do it.
I think that we can't write MVK off, right? Yes, we're talking about like, oh, Team Secret Wales are most likely going to win this one. And I mean, objectively, statistically, that's true. But we do need to treat every single game like the 50-50 that it is until the game has ended, right? Because sometimes you can just find that angle back in. Sometimes your opponent messes up. And if you are well positioned to take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, bada bing, bada boom, you win the team fight, you win the game, just like we saw Team Secret Wales do in that game 1. So it is anybody's game until the Nexus falls. And quite frankly, MVK can do it. I think MVK can take advantage if Team Secret Wales are the ones who make the mistakes, if they're the ones who maybe play a little too slowly, if they don't bring enough team members to a fight at the right time, if they play a standard front to back and MVK pincer maneuvers them. There's just every single angle for MVK to be able to beat Team Secret Wales right until the bitter end here, Pike. And that's why I'm not willing to write them off. That's why my prediction at least was 3-1. I genuinely think MVK can take a game from Team Secret Wales.
Look, and you know what? You're right. You are right. And that's why I still said Vikings are going to go all the way. Like, Vikings are going to go to MSI. I'm calling it right now. Like, they might not win this series. They might not be able to clean up the whole... Actually, no, you know what? Now that I think about it and I look at the stats, they still, if they make it all the way to the finals, they still have to fight off Secret Wales, and they have to win that to get to MSI. Okay. Let me just do some quick math. 1 + 1, 5. 5 + 6 is 19. You know what? Yeah, it's a long shot, but you know what? Vikings, they took a long time to get into England. They did. They went, they raided, they pillaged, they did their best, but you know what? They stuck to it, and now look at them. Basically integrated into the culture in that time period. You know what? I'm here for it. I think they can do it.
And now they have an everlasting legacy. They're basically immortal. Everybody knows the Vikings, and these Vikings are looking for the same sort of result. They're looking for the same outcome here. They want to etch their name in LCP history. They want to become immortal, and this is one step on the long path to the end of that road here, Pike. And I can't wait. Like, these jerseys, though, they're pretty clean. I do like a good clean black and white jersey, but equal to that MVK, that little splash of color. You even see the orange on the bill of that swan. It's just chef's kiss. Whoever designed these jerseys, pay rise.
Fun fact about the color orange, it is the most aggravating color of all the colors on the wheel. So if you see a lot of orange, it is more likely to make you aggressive than anything else. So you know what? Maybe flashing the black and orange to Secret Wales, who have gone for the very cool, calm, and collected black and white motif. Maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just not. But Logan, we know that it was a champion select issue, so we are getting that very much resolved. There will be no break. You guys have heard enough nonsense from us, but you know what? You get more nonsense. That's the best part, Logan, because we're here all night.
You know what else is here all night? Talking about the MSIs that these guys are fighting for, right? So the MSI is the second major of the year. It's the international invitational that these teams are vying for, the respect, the honor, but also the accolades of winning that MSI. And Team Secret Wales will doubtlessly be looking to put up sort of a better performance than they did at First Stand, which was kind of like a smaller tournament, if you will. It's the first international of the year. It's kind of like testing the waters. And Team Secret Wales, they've had a whole nother split now to improve their gameplay. And we kind of saw it here as D-Ray's just, you know, chilling. He's zen. He's ready for the game. But we saw it here with Team Secret Wales, the strategy, right? They were able to do the slow play. They were able to take the aggressive fights. They were able to adapt their style. And quite frankly, I think that's adaptability that's going to be so critical to them at the MSIs this year.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think this is one of the best things about the LCP region as it all, because it is APAC. It is so many different regions all coming together that we have the culmination of so much knowledge being brought. Yes, the league right now is filled with the VCS, but that's no problem because they've had to verse all these other regions, the PCS, everyone else, the LJL, like they've had to come in and actually prove their worth. And now that they're sitting up the top, they're here to prove why they're ready for that next international step, because LCP, we're still just a baby. It's our second year, Logan. We're just trying to find our feet. We're finding our voice. We're finding our place. And you know what? As we go on, I think our place is going to be nice and high up on that international ladder. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. We'll have to see later on next week which team is going to make that run into MSI. It really is any other team's game right now because Secret Wales, they've already got it. There's one more spot available.
Yeah, and that's so true, right? I'm going to say it right here, right now. I think LCP is the third best region in the world. We have 5 major regions. We have the LCP, the LCK, the LPL, the LEC, and the LCS. That's a whole lot of abbreviations. But for 5 major regions, I definitely think we're the third best in the world. And I'm looking forward to Team Secret Wales and our second team, whomsoever it might be, proving that to everybody else. Because this Team Secret Wales team, right? They're our all-pro, they're our superstars, they're our MVPs of the split, and they're already locked in for that MSI. So I'm very excited for them to prove it to the world.
Logan, who are the best leagues in the world then? If LCP's third, who are the best?
Look, you got to pay respect where it's due, right? LCK number 1, LPL number 2, LCP third, and then who cares about LEC and LCS? Honestly, like, whatever.
I was going to call you out just being like, nah, man, you're wrong. LCP is the best. Don't you dare disregard my league ever again. But no, then you came in with the absolute flame of those other regions. You know what? They're going to hear that and go, Logan, remember that name. And then we're going to go to some major event and be like, you're the one that said we were terrible, weren't you? And you're just going to be like, no, that was another caster named Logan. That wasn't me. But skins are coming out. Prestige, Broken Covenant, Misfortune, that slaps. And then we got the Star Guardian rel. They could have done a combo there and gone double Star Guardian, but you know what? We'll forgive them. But yes, we're starting beef with other regions. Now's the time, Logan. Now's the time. We're heading towards the finals. We're getting ready and primed. Let's start some fights.
And that's the storyline we need to take into the MSI, right? We're going to be like, yeah, LCP is better than the LEC and the LCS. So when we win, we can go, haha, see, we were right. And if we lose, then they can fire back at us and say, what were you saying? And it creates that banter, right? Which is one of the great things that came out of 2025. CFO developed a phenomenal friendship with K-Corp because they had that banter. GARM developed a fantastic relationship with G2. And it's these sort of relationships between the regions that we need to develop, to foster. And if that means we got to beef with some regions as well, then bring on the beef, because it is delicious. Here in Australia, we have some of the best.
I was going to say, we're made for this, but I am not actually made of beef, Logan. That's just a fun fact. I'm made of love and cuddles. That's the difference. But no, we're in game number 2 now, Logan. We've been talking nonsense long enough. This game has already been going 2.5 minutes, and we're still talking smack about other regions. You know what? That's how much we think LCP is the best. But still, look at D-Ray once again controlling the lane.
Yeah, this is exactly as bot side's getting spicy.
Has to burn that barrier as they're looking for a little bit more, but sidesteps the deadly flourish, and geez, again, the domination control out of Secret Wales, Logan.
Yeah, these early games are definitely going in Team Secret Wales' favor in these games so far. As you were alluding to, D-Ray just getting the better of Shawnee in both games. Guri forced to actually roam through the mid here as D-Ray again walks up in the face of 2. Is this man not scared of anything?
Nah. He has no fear. It's actually one of those like things that happen at birth where like a certain little bit in your brain doesn't enable you to feel certain emotions, and a flash out of BA with the ignite ticking down is not enough. Here comes Histo looking at Sulog. Not much mana. Gonna get the flag and drag. This could be a first bloods. The deadly flourish goes through. Flash out of Camille gets them out of dodge.
They're trying to make my prophecy come true. I said first blood in the first 4 minutes, and so far it's been so scrappy. BA has flashed, Camille has flashed, Barry is burned as well as we get a replay on that bot side. So BA was just trying to take a cheeky recall, and there's the hook we were talking about. Camille is just able to engage on you from so far away in such surprising angles that you really can't afford to be near her unless you are very, very healthy, which BA unfortunately was not at that time. And Kratos right now getting the better of Pun in topside.
Yeah, not too bad. This is sort of what you want as well. Rek'Sai is sort of like this big bruiser that is very much a presence, and nice little stuns there. BA sort of getting out of dodge. But you're right. I think this Rek'Sai might be a little bit of a sleeper OP champion where it can do so much. You can get those tunnels, and it did a good job. And look at Pun, has to be backing here, might have to TP back into lane just to hold on, but they're trying to get as much XP as possible. Hex Flash is coming out. I still worry, Sulong really needs to have a really star-studded performance, and Shawnee's taken very low already. The backflip not going to be used because D-Ray just has so much more health.
But this is what we would expect in the early game from a ranged champ into a melee champ as well, right? D-Ray is obviously using that range advantage so effectively. It is D-Ray after all. He's one of our best mid laners, and he's proving that with the CS advantage that he's able to eke out for himself. And these top laners, they both have grasp, right? So they're trading very, very heavily because they want to get their grasp procs on cooldown. Pun does have that sheen, which gives him that little extra trading power, but Kratos has picked up that Doran's helmet and that health item to boot. And Kratos able to buffer the stun so nicely. Team Secret Wales, they're getting advantages in every single lane right now, Pike, and the first Drake is up.
Yeah, first Drake, it is going to be that Cloud, so we're not going to see the Cloud soul this time. As okay, Shawnee looking very aggressive, had to burn the flash. Let's see if it's going to be enough as D-Ray's trying to hold on. Petrifying Gaze is no longer in effect. Shawnee's just on the wrong side, flashes over the wall. Shawnee just predicted nothing. D-Ray got the best of that one and is able to get out a little bit longer. And now Scuttle Crabs are going over to Secret Wales. It was all about getting this quick early pressure, and it just wasn't enough.
And now Secret Wales, they're roaming to that mid lane. They're protecting D-Ray. They're bringing the members down. And they're also forcing Guri away from the Drake. So it's all part of the plan here, Pike. They're trying to get those first jungle objectives. And as I say that, Histo's just leaving that Cloud Drake alone. So maybe not.
No, look, saw Sulong sort of heading up to this top side. Leave the 80 carries to farm out in the bot. That's totally fine. But Histo making a very aggressive play with BA here, invading into the jungle just to try and steal this red buff away. But Shawnee's back, full health. You're going to be very worried about that one.
Yeah, 3 versus 2, that's not a fight you'll win. So Team Secret Wales recognize the position they found themselves in and back away. I do like Team Secret Wales' response off the back of that Shawnee versus D-Ray fight in the mid lane. D-Ray saving that flash, holding it up until the last possible moment and getting maximum value out of that one, just avoiding that sort of perfect execution that probably would have cleaned D-Ray up. So a great turn of play there, as we do see Team Secret Wales, they're up in CS on almost every lane here, Pike, but Shawnee under a lot of pressure again.
Yeah, no, I think it's always good. Like, if you can get the Akali out of the game, it just alleviates all that pressure on the back end of your team. That's not going to get jumped instantly. But Sulong doing a good job just trying to rotate around. Must have been a little bit of a fight up topside as Pun's not looking too healthy. Void Grubs are up in 30 seconds, Logan, so I wonder which team's going to look at it because neither team's making moves towards this dragon.
Yeah, we do take a look at the junglers, and they are not on that top side. So I think the Grubs are going to be there for a little while yet, as both supports are getting really roamy here. Shulong and BA just tracking towards that mid lane, that all-important mid lane, right? Because right now, D-Ray is 25 CS up over Shawnee. He is absolutely dominating, not letting this melee Akali get anywhere, get any CS, get the gold critically, so he'll be at an item advantage a little later as well. Deadly Flourish.
Yeah, not going to be able to do too much. Bouncing Grenade did do a little bit more to Eddie, so had to burn a potion there, but Dragon's still up and available. Sulong could look for a jump fairly soon, almost teetering that level 5, getting closer to level 6. So once that is confirmed, you get that nice Hextech ultimatum that's going to be able to jump onto people and lock them down. Histo obviously finding Guri in the middle of this play, just trying to alleviate more pressure. It feels like Shawnee's just copping the rough end of the stick.
Well, this feels like D-Ray is pressuring Shawnee so much that he's forcing Guri to respond, right? So Team Secret Whales, they're not being first to the objectives, but they're dragging MVK's jungler across the map, meaning he can't get the objectives. And I think Team Secret Whales are happy with that because the Cloud Drake is up, the Grub's up, and no jungler is able to go for them. And as I say that, Guri has started the Grubs up and his toe in the area to respond.
Straight on in, gets the flag and drag, forces Guri to back off, and now that's sort of like the easy ticket. Pun TP too, so now it looks like it is Vikings just going to be giving over those Grubs. Started it up and maybe started it a little bit too prematurely.
Yeah, Team Secret Whales were still heavily in the area, so he must have thought MVK was going to come around and help his teammates, but unfortunately, Team Secret Whales just getting the advantage here. And I'm loving watching this Rek'Sai into this Jax, quite frankly. I almost wish we'd spend more time up here, but the rest of the team is determined to fight because this Rek'Sai is able to buffer the stuns that come out of Jax very, very nicely, that Counter-Strike, and it mitigates the follow-up that Jax would normally want to be doing. And another thing that we saw when Kratos had Pun hard shoved up under the tower, Kratos hit Pun and then was able to tunnel away, burrowed away, dropping the tower aggro. So didn't get punished for hitting him under that tower. So I think this Rek'Sai is actually a really intelligent, a really heads-up choice here from MVK.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you could already see as well, I think you mentioned it, when you see Pun looking for that Counter-Strike, you do just tunnel away and you don't get hit with that CC, then you just re-engage back again. You get these really nice knock-ups. It's going to be able to do a little bit more. So I really like this unburrow that comes out. It's a really interesting gameplay into the Jax, and it feels like Vikings have been doing their read on the meta there. They're reading a couple of picks that might not necessarily be like the strongest, but have the right interactions that they need. And there's a flash out of Kratos tanking a couple towers there, but still, a little bit of a Warriors flash now on cooldown.
Yeah, not having flash is never a good thing, so it forces you to play a little more defensively. You can't aggress forward as much as you would like, and that might just be enough for Pun to get kind of back into this, because he is around 10 CS down at the moment, does have his flash, and is halfway to his first item as his toe completes that Sun to the Sky, but MVK, they're looking for a gank under this tower.
Looking for a little bit more. The Cyclone's good. Flag and Drag is going to be available. Let's see if it lands. It's still the first blood being tanked up. Kratos survives and gets out just enough, but the Cataclysm keeps him in this fight, and Kratos trades 1-for-1.
Yeah, really nice timing of Histo to be in the area for that. Read the play of MVK. Yes, MVK do get that first blood, but Team Secret Whales able to turn it back around and make it a 1-for-1. I love that they had the read of that they were able to respond. More fighting.
Yeah, it looks like BA's found Sulong in the bush as well. D-Ray got a really nice fight there onto Shawnee and already chunked them out quite a bit, so they weren't able to respond to that. I think the hard thing is until Sulong has some items on the board, BA is going to get the better of these because they're just going to be that much tankier in these fights. But let's look at this first blood fight here.
Yeah, Guri did go over the ward, so Pun knew it was coming, and Histo was able to respond immediately. Kratos desperately tries to burrow away there on a sliver of health, and as you so rightly called, Histo commits that ultimate, Cataclysms over the wall, so not able...
Straight on in, nothing to do. A Magnet Storm causes absolute disaster. Pun's able to pick up Guri. The return fight now, Kratos is being jumped. Flag and Drake's just not going to land, but a fight over topside red buff resulted in TSW looking good with a 2.5k gold lead.
TSW sounds very similar to TSM, actually. That's a good call. But Team Secret Wales now find themselves at 2,500 gold. They were just at a 1k gold lead, so that is starting to balloon. Kratos, the only one with a gold lead, does get that Titanic Hydra there for Kratos. Dusk and Dawn over for Pun. So these first items are coming online, but we get to take a look at this red buff fight again. He's telling Guri, he's kind of going hit for hit trading, and then Guri, he hung around too long, and the Team Secret Wales just responded. They brought more members to this area a lot quicker than MVK were able to, and down he goes. So I just don't think MVK were expecting it, right? Because take a look at the wards, and Team Secret Wales have the wards in MVK's jungle. And now we're back at it.
Getting the fight off. There's the curtain call too. It's another fight going in. Guri is able to use the Cyclone just a little bit more. Histo has to flash, but it's a beautiful shot coming out. It's all too much. Harky able to lock it down. There is the Hextech ultimatum. It picks up another one. Eddie's not in this world anymore too. Pun's just going to ward hop away, but it's going to get jumped on. Double kill for Kratos. It's still way too much. Shorty's picking up kills too. D-Ray has to flash instantly to avoid Kratos. Oh, it is looking disastrous for Secret Wales now. Their 2.5 gold lead has now flipped over to 700 for the Vikings.
It was 2-1, it's now 2-5. 4 kills and the Drake go over to MVK. A 3,500 gold switcheroo in just under a minute, I want to say, Pike. That was a crazy turn of events, and it started in the jungle around the blue buff. There was Histo and Guri trading again. It's literally a repeat of what happened for that red buff earlier, but MVK, they would not be bullied. Guri gets a great Cyclone engage here onto 3 members of Team Secret Wales, and we see that curtain call just nailing Team Secret Wales. MVK responded quicker. They committed the TPs. They had the numbers advantage from the get-go, and this Rek'Sai proving its worth, getting that burrow, getting that Void Rush, able to take BA out, and D-Ray left to the wolves. But it's not over. Team Secret Wales, they're on the Rift Herald.
They want more, and actually Pun's trying to take on Kratos here, and does have to tunnel away. It's not going to be too much, and now they're pushing them back out. Rift Herald has already been started. Seal, first coach comms coming through too. Now clearly saying, guys, focus out Kratos. Another flash out for Rek'Sai. She's not going to be able to hold on to that one much longer. Tunnels yet again is quite low, but Pun has no mana. The whole team's looking to converge here, but Pun knows better. Pun knows better.
No mana, no vision. Didn't know that any of them were coming. So probably just got a feeling of how Kratos was playing. So low, but sticking around, trying to keep Pun interested. Fishing to prevent him from recalling. But Pun is experienced. Pun has been here before. Knows what's up. Respects the potential and backs away. Just wasting MVK's time ultimately. So they just turn it into clearing the jungle. Kratos does keep pushing, though. Pun looking to punish.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, Pun doing a good job just chunking out Kratos once again. So much survivability now with that helm. It does sort of keep you healthy for so much longer. But now that the tower is just like an auto attack away, Guri's just going to walk up. He's tanking the tower, hits one. Nice counter strike is going to land, but it's going to be enough as the flash is burnt. There's the decoy Void Rush too. Cyclone just lands. Rift Herald's been used mid. Let's see if they can crack it open. Secret Wales trying to make a cross map play of their own. They get the charge. They might be able to get a second one here. Are they? What?
Oh,
all right. You know what?
Take his license.
Nah, it's all good. Where did he get that? A cereal box? No, still. Now they're looking at the second tier 2 for the side of Vikings. They're accelerating this game absolutely insane. And it is this Rek'Sai pick that's getting it done.
This feels like one of my solo queue games, right? Where you die once in your bot lane that you've been defending so fervently all game. You die once and then suddenly you lose both of your towers and you're like, oh, well, okay, I guess that all my hard work is just gone. Because Pun dies, they lose both their tier 1, their tier 2 bot lanes, and all Team Secret Wales got in return was the mid tier 1 and a crashed Rift Herald. So right now, MVK, they are at nearly 3,000 gold up. They have one Drake. They did stop Team Secret Wales from getting all 3 grubs though, so it feels like Team Secret Wales right now, they're the ones up against it. Despite having a CS lead in the bot, mid, and jungle, the gold advantage is still very much over to MVK. we do see some of those items here too, Pike. We've got the Bloodthirster for the MF, increasing her survivability. That Rod of Ages at 7 stacks for D-Ray coming online. And the Proto Belt giving Akali even more movement. And now this is something that we see this fight over the buffs again, Pike. It's like we can't let a buff go.
No, don't take what you can, give nothing back. It's the true pirate way. But still, it is going to be a nice little red buff stolen. It's all about exerting pressure at this point. You don't want to give them all too much. Next Dragon is up in 1 minute's time, so I suspect that's where the next big fight's going to be. We're not even at Dragon Soul identity yet. We know it's going to be an Infernal Drag second on the block. We just don't even know. This game has been slowed down so dramatically. And yes, it's 2 kills to 6, but there's nothing really huge of note, unfortunately, Logan. That's the thing. It's slow, methodical gameplay. We're waiting for those big item spikes. Second coach comms coming through.
Second coach comms probably looking at Pun's CS disadvantage to Kratos. He's currently running him around the rift here. That's nearly a 60 CS advantage over to Kratos, who is currently 4-1. Pun kind of looking out of sorts into this matchup, and I have to think it's what we spoke about in that draft, right, Pike? It's the unknown. It's the not very well practiced into. If you don't play into these champs, if you don't practice into these champs very often, you don't know how to deal with them. As it looks like a topside fight might be brewing. Team Secret Whales, though, they're on the wards. MVK know this is coming, and Team Secret Whales are just going to back off. I think that's the right call. But as you said, that Drake is on the rift. Guri racing toward it, and most of Team Secret Whales on the top side. I have to imagine this is going to be MVK's second Drake of the game.
Yeah, now we've got a TP actually coming out. Looks like it is going to be D-Ray joining up in this top side. They want to dive onto Kratos. They have that bounty. They're going to flip it around as the hookshot goes out, but actually Pun gets taken incredibly low. He's going to get hit with the Void Rush. Kratos takes the 1v3, now looking for a little bit more as the flag is ready to get out of dodge. Kratos does not care. Cataclysm does go back in. Flash now burnt. Let's see if he's going to be able to survive just a little bit longer. It is Sulong just, I don't know, standing around, but look at Shawnee at the base knocking on their door saying, guys, I want in, give me this inhib. And it was looking kind of good for Secret Whales, but Vikings have a very different game plan in mind, and they're playing it exceptionally. Oh,
yeah,
no.
They're winning through top. Yeah, interrupting that tempo, interrupting that return there is Eddie hasn't really been involved in any of these fights. Literally 0-1-0. D-Ray has been fighting, but hasn't been in any that have resulted in kills. 0-0-0. So I'm looking for Team Secret Whales to come together as a team, come together as a unit, as that Rod of Ages does get to that 10 stacks, giving him that level 14. But even then, Shawnee, he's level 14 himself. He didn't need the Rod of Ages right here, Pike. The MVK right now, they're hard winning through Kratos.
Yeah. Well, that's also the big thing, right? It's a 4K gold lead right now for the Vikings. They're looking really strong at the present moment. And that is 2.7K of that is actually on Kratos. 5-1-0. Shojin Spear has been picked up, which means the cooldowns are nuts. They're going to be throwing out everything they can. It's just going to get harder and harder to kill this Rek'Sai. She is a beast and a half. She's running around this rift with absolute control and conviction. Now it's about where do they put that control and conviction into other lanes, because right now it's just making Pun look disastrous. But if they can make it flip a little bit more and start affecting more of these team fights around, it's going to look even better.
Yeah, that Titanic Hydra, just so much wave clear as well. I think the Merc Treads is a fantastic choice, right? Because it reduces the time that this Rek'Sai is actually stunned by Pun's counter-strikes. It reduces the CC time. I have to think out of that miasma as well, which is that grounded effect. So it's a great choice. And just Shojin's, the CDs, I just don't see Pun having an answer. Kratos demands more than one person to respond. Pun is happy to be that one to respond. He keeps trying to trade into them, but I really think the sustainability, that survivability of Kratos on this Rek'Sai means that Pun is not enough to get it done alone. Eddie, the team hasn't had a team fight because MVK keeps catching them alone. The Baron is up. The next Drake is up in another 2 minutes. And is it weird to say I don't see where Team Secret Whales is going to win this one because MVK are just running them right now?
I think the big thing is, and you already touched on it, the one win con that Secret Wales will have is one really good team fight. They get one really good team fight, they can clean up really hard. If they keep getting picked off like they have been, it's going to be disastrous. D-Ray already being looked at. Oh, the Petrifying Gaze used. There's the Curtain Call as well. D-Ray already having to back off. It's a bit of a disaster too, as now mid lane has been picked up by Kratos. Pun is still bot lane, just trying to get something back and recover a little bit because it's a 50 CS lead deficit, which is huge. So Kratos really able to work the map now and is now pinging as Dragon is up in 1.2 minutes, which means that's where the big fight is, and it's an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, Ocean Soul is going to make Kratos absolutely unkillable on that Rek'Sai. That is not one that Team Secret Wales want MVK to have. And we're 23.5 minutes in the game, and a 5k gold lead, it feels substantial. It does feel significant. And you take a look at the levels as well. Kratos has 2 levels over Pun, and I don't think it's because Pun is playing bad. I just think Kratos has found the pick that Pun didn't know how to handle, right? Or he knows how to pilot better, because it just doesn't look like Pun has any into this Rek'Sai right now. And we do take a quick look at the vision control, right? We've got MVK so ward heavy on that bot side. It speaks to their priority that they're going to be putting on this third Drake of the game. And Team Secret Wales, their wards are almost in the same spots because they know MVK, they're going to be going for these Drakes. They're going to try and get that soul point soon enough. And Seal, he's using his 3rd coach comms of the game. He's got to give Team Secret Wales some guidance, some direction here, because it almost feels like they're just slowing their own inevitable demise in this game.
It's that sort of that LCK sort of mentality. Maybe if we just slow it down long enough, we can look for a fight. As the hookshot does go out, Histo able to land that flag and drag. Let's see if anything's really going to come, as now there's a big team fight. That's the TP out of Kratos. It has ticked off this fight. The Dragon is up, and both teams obviously want it. Guri hasn't even started it up yet, looking just to hold on a little bit more. That's another TP coming out. It is Pun looking to join this fight. Let's see if they can get in and get it happening, as it's 5 members strong. Secret Wales, they know how to group. Now it's how well can they play together. This is the team fight they might have been looking for. See if they're able to just reset a little bit more. Dragon has actually been started up. Secret Wales, first one on the ticket. Let's see if numbers can just overwhelm. So the rest of the roster is here. Shorty's looking for the flank off behind the Dragon pit, but Pun and Eddie have a different idea. They know that they're looking for this flank. So now it's all about reset city, and now they're saying, okay, no one gets the Dragon. Let's just reset and look for a pick instead. But no, let's flip it again here, Logan. It is Secret. It is the Vikings now looking at the Dragon. Okay, and Secret Wales come back in.
Yeah, Secret Wales, though, they have the numbers advantage right now because MVK, they did leave to split the lanes. Fights are breaking out, though. Pun onto Shawnee.
Great call. There's the Hextech ultimatum. It's going to be enough as the Magnet Storm's good. It's pulling them all in. Eddie's picked up that first kill they've been looking for. Let's see if enough damage is going to be there. There's the Void Rush is too good. They're going to pick up Kratos here. They're surviving 1 second too long, but it is Pun picking it up. The Dragon's even gone. The Cyclone goes through, but it's all too much damage. Let's see if they're going to reset as Shawnee. Jumping into the back line. BA is here. Guri's holding on. He gets the Dragon, though. It's Vikings coming up with the goods, but it is Pun now trying to hold on a little bit longer, and it is still all too much. Almost the ace going out for Vikings. They get the Dragon and they get the team fight, Logan.
It was a good team fight from Team Secret Wales, but MVK played it that much cleaner, that much more clinical. They walk out with 2 members nearly at full health. Harky 100%, Shawnee 60%, BA the only one left to respond here. And I liked that sequence of plays from both of these teams. It was that longer, more drawn out sequence as we see here in this replay. They're still scuffling for vision control as Shulong goes in and starts this fight off, is answered with a fantastic Magnet Storm. But Kratos, when he's burrowed into that Void Rush, untargetable. They weren't able to prevent him from getting into the back line and taking someone out. Yes, Pun is able to respond, but then Pun isn't frontlining elsewhere, and Harky is just beautifully over this wall, out of range of Pun on that Jax, untouchable, and a fantastic finish to the fight. It was great to see Team Secret Wales come together as a team. it was even better to see Kratos repel them. Sorry, MVK. I'm looking at him right now. It was even better to see MVK repel them.
Yeah, and that another death there as well for Kratos did sort of make it a little bit easier for Pun to get back into this game. They're starting to go a little bit more damage. They've picked up that Sundered Sky on this Jax, which means survivability is a little bit higher. Now it looks like they've gotten the mask. They're looking for maybe a bit of extra burn. They're going that AP route for Jax, which I've always enjoyed in ARAM, and it has had a lot of use in sort of solo queue. I think it really comes down to team comp as well, where there is a lot of magic damage already on D-Ray on this Cassiopeia, so maybe going for a little bit extra just to maybe get that explosive power too. It's always nice. So it's a bit of an interesting itemization, but at the same time, it's always smart when you see Kratos having to build a spirit visage too. So clearly they've said if we just commit to it, we force Kratos to take the magic resist, and then it means Eddie's going to have a little bit of an easier time as their 3 items already completed. Eddie's been slowly staying relevant in these team fights and in this game. They're on their way to an IE, and they've got anti-heal. It looks really good for Eddie right now. They have a good team fight coming up.
Yeah, and that Magnet Storm able to lock people down, that Cataclysm able to lock people down. It's a beautiful composition for Eddie on that Misfortune, but just needs to find the right fight here. There's a little scuffle on the bot side. That's A-okay. But we're 29 minutes into this game. MVK 6K up. Baron on the Rift. 4th Drake of the game and potential soul for MVK in another 2 minutes, and gold leads in every single lane over to MVK. Ooh. It's going to be up to Team Secret Wales. Ooh.
Pun and Shawnee having a bit of a beef, and Counter-Strike does go out. There's the backflip as well, but now Shawnee could be caught out as the rest of Vikings are up on this Baron. Shutdown is good for Eddie, but now they have to book it all the way up topside because the Baron's been started up by the Vikings. They lost a little bit of that gold lead as that did give them a little bit of shutdown gold, but 7k health. This usually means that is probably gone at this point, and Vikings picking up a very free Baron.
Yeah, I have to think that was fantastic.
Oh, Cataclysm's good. Eddie, another kill once again. A nice little return favor. Oh, not too bad, but still, Vikings still up. 5k health, 5k gold.
Yeah, they only lost 800 gold out of that exchange, and I think that was Shawnee's plan all along. It was to try and draw members to that bot side, and being able to solo Pun down and force even more members of Team Secret Wales was just cream on top. That was the cherry on top for Shawnee there. As we do go back to it, right? Because we saw it start out. And there's that Proto Belt. Now, the Proto Belt has long been a strong item. It increases your mobility. It changes the angles that you can attack from, which we saw here. And it's something that the LCK is adopting. Chovy is using it on every single mid lane champ because it takes traditionally immobile mid laners and makes them a bit more mobile, harder to lock down, and it takes your more mobile into hyper mobile. They're almost uncatchable, untouchable, and creates new and exciting ways to engage on these enemies.
Yeah, he's still going very deep here as well, just sort of trying to keep them back. But one thing we didn't get to see on camera, but it was sort of just presented to us, is all 3 towers have gone down for the tier 1s on the side of Vikings. So it's opened up a little bit more of the map for Secret Wales. The downside is they really just need to stick together. Pun can't be too far away. He needs to have TP up to look for these fights. But Dragon, it's up on the board, Logan. It's where Secret Wales already are.
Yeah, they got there first. They have a lot of damage. MVK moving in to respond.
Nice pickup as they secure it. They just lock it down nice and early. Shawnee off from the backside. Curtain Call has been summoned. It's just to get some slows off. But misses a couple. Pun is dangerously over. The Miasma is good. Eddie picking up another kill. And this Misfortune is well online. They're on 4 kills, 2 deaths. And they're looking really good. They're just rotating at the right time. It was the slow, methodical play.
I almost think this had to come through that coach comms of Seal, right? Get gold onto Eddie, because the last 3 kills have all gone to Eddie. He's just been able to run in at the back end of the fight and just net that extra gold. As we do see this fight break out, again, it's Shawnee using that Proto Belt again to get that much closer, to get that different angle we were talking about. Pun forced to flee, unable, quite frankly, to take Shawnee in this 1v1, but knows his team has his back, forces that stopwatch to come through and just nets a kill for Eddie. So I like that play. I'm glad Team Secret Whales were able to save Pun in that situation, and he played the long game because now he's got 3 full items. Guardian Angel locked in for his toe, as is for Guri. Both of these junglers really hard to kill. Team Secret Whales, they got that 4th Drake, so they've stopped MVK from getting that soul. The next Baron, 3 minutes away. And MVK, they weren't really able to utilize the Baron that they got. They actually didn't get any objectives. Before the Baron, they were up 6k gold. They're now down to only a 3k gold lead, which at 33 minutes, it starts to feel inconsequential.
Yeah, look at that total gold right now. It's all sitting on Eddie, who's been picking up these kills ever so slowly, and that's who I said to watch a little bit closer towards the mid game. I was like, Eddie's going to come back into this game. They haven't done anything, but they're just biding their time. But you're right. Now that it's in a 2.7k gold lead for Vikings, it has sort of dwindled. It's them slowly starting to fall off. Secret Whales, you're right. They were down, but they're never out. That is the big difference. This is one of the key defining factors of the Secret Whales. They are always inevitable to some degree. So I'm excited to see what the next couple minutes are going to be, because this is one of the longer games we've had now. The first game went for 33 minutes. We've just teetered over that, heading to 34. So we'll have to see where these teams want to start to snowball. But let's check the scoreboard. It's 8 kills to 12. Still 3 kills, but Dragon Soul Point still very happy on the side of Vikings. I think that's where the next big fight's going to be.
Yeah, they've definitely got that advantage. BA might be caught out here.
Oh, goes straight in. There's the bullet time, but now they look at the back. Kratos going straight onto Eddie. They do have a GA, so they have to survive a little bit longer. The Void Rush is good. Flag and Drake can keep them a little bit more, as there's the Cataclysm. They're just taking out Kratos. Nothing you can do. Eddie's able to survive for far too long. D-Ray, why are you all alone up here, my guy? That is not the place to be, you slippery snake. You are going to have to flash out of there as well. You survive a little bit longer. Hextech Ultimatum is good. Let's see if the damage is going to pop. What is this damage getting? You're insane. It's just blasting them through. The GA is still up. The resurrection's good. Shorty's picking up that side of GEA, but now Shorty wants to kill this misfortune. Eddie is not long for this world. Flash out from his toe, keeps them alive, trying to sidestep everything. The Monkey King chasing after his toe, and a huge fight for Secret Whales was just snuffed out by the Vikings.
Huge fight is right. Team Secret Whales, they pulled the trigger on that one. BA was almost caught out at the start, turns it around into a Magnet Storm engage, letting Eddie rip with the bullet time, and just unfortunately, they kept on going after they won the initial fight. We see it here again, right? This is fantastic. BA gets the stun, flash Magnet Storm, gets on top of 2. Kratos knows his target is hard going for Eddie. Even Void rushes Eddie in the backline. Unable to take him out, is left far too deep and alone. D-Ray on the opposite side is far too deep and alone, and is lucky to get away from this one, but it drags the rest of Team Secret Whales into a 4v3, right? And traditionally, numbers advantages, they're gonna lose you the fight every single time. MVK had the numbers advantage, and they proved it here again. Pun just it feels like he positioned himself a little weird there, but we're back to live, and the fighting is happening again. It's never ending.
Yeah, on Counter-Strike, it's all too much. This is the AP. Jack's coming in clutch, and now they get the revive out. Kratos is taking a bit of damage, but is still quite healthy. There is the big Magnet Storm engage. It's the bullet time magic, baby. Protect the president. No, the president got moves of his own. The shutdown for D-Ray. Secret Whales, you can never count them out of a game here, Logan. It's all too much for Vikings, and it is Secret Whales walking down mid.
They knew MVK didn't have any ults left after that fight, so Team Secret Whales felt they could advance fearlessly, and they did. They only lost his toe. They've got some low members, but I have to imagine they're looking to end this one right now. It's 4v1.
It's all too much as the grounding is good. They're trying to find them in the shroud. No, it's a re-return. It's just a little bit too much, Vikings. They are just not long for it. Sulog wants to jump onto D-Ray, get that damage off, try and take the snake out. Hextech Ultimatum is good, but the damage out of Eddie is just too much. Secret Whales, they're not even entertained by this. They just know they have it in the bag. Eddie is healthy, and Secret Whales take game number 2, which was looking disastrous for them the whole time. Logan.
MVK had a 6k gold lead. They got a free Baron, and they still lost from there. Team Secret Wales proving their resilience, proving they can go the distance, no matter how far down they might be. You said it yourself, they're down, but they were not out. And look at the faces of these MVK squad here, reviewing the footage doubtlessly going, how did we lose this one? Because it didn't even feel like it was a major mistake from MVK. It just felt like Team Secret Wales were left to scale up. Pun, he was down and, dare I say, out in that early game, but still found a way to come back into it in these team fights. And that's what we kept calling out, Pike. There hadn't been a team fight yet. When they got to those team fights, Team Secret Wales, they turned up.
Look, and they turned on the heat and they said, now we're cooking with fire, because, wow, Eddie had a very long building game, I'll say. Very long building game. They were not present for much. There's the damage charts off the back end. Still, Pun did more damage than Kratos on this Rek'Sai too. So yes, the Rek'Sai was so dominant early. They always are going to be, because they can get those good resets. They're working off energy. They're not off mana. But it came down to how well were these 80 carries participating in these team fights. A curtain call, and you know what? Wild opinion, is not as good as a bullet time, especially in a big team fight. You could even see on the side of Secret Wales, the second this bullet time went off and it did so much damage, the whole side of Vikings were like, we gotta get this misfortune. And they just couldn't get to it. The Protect the President comp was working really well, and Eddie had a good show.
Yeah, Eddie, as you say, did start off a bit slower, but did come online. Team Secret Wales were able to start feeding the kills over, accelerate Eddie on that misfortune into the late game. And yeah, the curtain call is fantastic for getting picks, but it's not fantastic for laying a bullet time amount of damage onto 5 members of MVK. And that's the difference, right? That close range layering, that CC combo. But Kratos, I mean, credit to Kratos, he really gave MVK that win condition from the early game. He was bullying Pun, which is so unusual. We're used to seeing Pun be the bully, but he just ran Pun across the rift, got that top lane advantage, got MVK ahead. At one point, they were 7-2 in terms of kills. They were about 3k gold up. And then we got out of the laning phase into the team fighting. And that's where Team Secret Wales started to find their way back in. They did lose the first couple, but late game, Pun was everywhere. Pun's counter-strikes were getting insane amounts of value. The comp, as you said, was protecting Eddie on that accelerated 5-item misfortune. At one stage, the MF had a full complete item more than the Jhin, because Team Secret Wales had been managing that gold so well. And these 1v1s with Shawnee, they were going well through the mid game, but late game, he just wasn't able to find those angles because that miasma was grounding him, preventing a lot of that mobility, which proves the inspiration of the choice of Cassiopeia.
That's also the big thing, right, is I said that there was going to be some Akali 1v1 fights and they're going to be kind of cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. It just sucks that when you get to the late game, they're no longer 1v1 fights anymore because the whole team's going to be on top of you. So I love that it was starting to be these really cool 1v1s, and then it was just, oh, Secret Wales, oh, we actually can just group up here and do whatever we want. I do think this was a little bit of an overstep from the Secret Wales. I think they knew they had this win. I think they were just trying to assert a little bit more kill pressure and to give Eddie a little bit more. But the second that GA was popped on Eddie, it was a little bit disastrous. But this was that last fight. This was the final nail in the coffin. And look at Pun's damage here. Boom!
Yeah, Pun just... Yeah. I mean, this fight speaks for itself. The bullet time onto multiple members, D-Ray just free firing onto MVK, and like we said, they just had no ults left in the tank. They just weren't able to respond to the aggression, to the damage. Yeah, there were no Guardian Angels left on either side, but they just didn't need it for that fight, Pike. And Team Secret Wales, I remember at one stage, about 20 minutes in, I'm like, I don't see how they get back into this, and 17 minutes later they win.
I never doubted for a second. I was always there. I was like, they're okay, but nah, I wasn't stressed, Logan. And we don't need to stress. That's the best part about the LCP. We're very calm here. We're very collected.
So right. And you did predict the 3-0 over to Team Secret Wales, and we'll see if your prediction will be right after this break, because here in the LCP, we're made for this.
Here's an overview of how Coach Comms works. Each team may assign one coach per game, submitted with the starting roster. Coaches can be changed between games. Only a head coach, assistant coach, or analyst is eligible. Sub-players are not allowed. Use of the Coach Comms is optional. Here's how Coach Comms operates during matches. The coach is placed in an isolated room, wearing a soundproof headset to ensure competitive integrity. They may only view the 5-player POVs on stage. No live stream, spectator mode, or external devices are permitted. Each team has 3 Coach Comms uses per game, with 45 seconds per use. Unused users do not carry over. After all users are exhausted, the coach may leave the room. If they leave early, they cannot return. Team members not participating will have access to standard spectator mode for post-game review. Coach Comms has received positive feedback from teams and fans and adds an additional strategic layer to the game. The feature will be reviewed at the end of Split 2. Stay tuned for more updates.
Tôi nghĩ team em có thể đứng trong top LCP. Team em khá là đoàn kết với lại sức trẻ nữa, càng đánh càng hay. Chúng tôi sẽ có mặt tại MRA.
Tới sẽ có máy trực tiếp và tới giới thì họ rất là mạnh, thì fan cũng là sẽ cố đặt niềm tin vào nhau để có thể mạnh ra sẽ có những lần trước.
Off the map, they do get the Rift Herald. The flash encore! It's just too quick. Flag and drag follow up.
Chúng tôi là thời đại mới của LCP.
The mountain charging forward. Doggo is the target. Artemis is getting some damage off. Yeah.
Khi bước up thì bọn mình cần phải đánh với tâm thế nó đầu tiên phải là tự tin đã, và nó cái tâm lý nó thật là thoải mái, thì khi đó thì bọn mình sẽ đánh đúng với thực lực của mình.
因为我们现在成绩不算特别好，但是我们进季后赛，我觉得我们也能像G2一样一下课上。
シェフを呼んでくれ。ちょっとかじらせてもらうよ。
Style and flow, check my steeds, amazing glow. Been through the highs and lows, now I'm the star of the show. Yeah. Check the memo, check the tempo.
And we are back from game 1 and game 2 before us. Team Secret Wales take them both. We find ourselves in game 3 of tonight's best of 5 series between MVK Esports, our number 3 seed, versus Team Secret Wales, our number 1 seed. And just a quick call out, congratulations to Hizto, only the 3rd player in LCP history to achieve 1,000 assists and the first jungler to do it. That's pretty impressive stats.
Hey. Let's all do like little, is it golf claps where you just click, or I don't know which one it is, but let's just all start clicking together, because you know what, that's a big thing, right? Especially for the age of the league too. Like they've been playing a lot of games, so big props. Kratos, well done. Nice to get a couple of these players a little bit more recognition out on the Rift here, Logan. Always important.
Yeah, definitely Hizto, definitely being the one with that 1,000 assists in the, LCP, and we're not even 2 years old yet, so really good job there by Hizto. And another call out as well, but this time for MVK. Shulong has joined Kratos and Guri in the 100 games played club as one of MVK's core players. So congratulations to Shulong there for that 100 games as well.
Awesome. Like it scores, it's big things across the board. Everyone's getting a little bit of recognition. It's in all the Vikings. It's just a shame that they're sitting 0-2 against this Wales roster right now, and they're sort of coming up a little bit more, but they're coming up with some goods here, and it's all just stats on the back. But now we're heading into game number 3, Logan. This is the big one. Does Secret Wales just clean sweep this entire series, or are we going to see a bit more competitive action out of the Vikings? Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Vikings have been incredibly competitive. Secret Wales have just been a little bit more tactful, and I think they've just waited for the opportune moments and just played it a little bit better.
Quite frankly, if it was any other team, I really do think MVK would have taken games 1 and game 2, especially with that game 2 draft. Yes, it was non-traditional, but my goodness, did it work for them. It looked fantastic. The Kratos on that Rek'Sai, just, oh, please, can we get another game of that? But maybe not against Team Secret Wales. But we do see these picks and bans coming through, and I swear, if they lock in that 3rd ban, they've got the Nocturne, the Seraphine, and if they go for it, it'll be very interesting to see, because we're in that 3rd game, right? So like this ban, they have to make sure that they win this one, right? Team Secret Wales, they're 2-0, they're at match point. They take this game 3, then they end the series nice and early, and there's Nefiri. Okay.
I like it. I think the Nefiri pick taken off the board too is that aggressive jungler that we've started seeing a lot more of. Definitely a nice pick to get off the hands of Guri. And there's the Orianna as the final ban. First time it's been banned this entire series. So obviously they're thinking, oh, is there going to be a bold delivery? This now opens up a lot more in the mid lane, in my opinion. Like Yorick, wow, what a pick. Pun. If you give us that Urgot first, that's actually insane. But it does mean that there's like the likes of like the Aries, the Auroras coming out. And there's the Varus first pick. Nice lock in, a fantastically strong champ right now.
And that was the pick that I was alluding to, where words failed to find. It was that Varus, right? Because Varus has been banned every single game so far, but they decided to let it through this time around. And Team Secret Wales, they're the ones who net it for themselves. And Siva, the traditional sort of counter pick, and they slam Pantheon. That was quick. Okay.
Right.
Really liking that MVK know what they're doing, yeah.
Rumble's available. Vibing picked up is fantastic, but Rumble is still up. Like there is a teamfight monster that has been ignored in this ban phase. And now with the Ahri being picked up, I hate to be the guy that called it, but I kind of love it. But I love this. The Ahri Vi combo, it is so strong and a really hotly contested sort of duo in that jungle. But there's the Aurora as well. It's the obvious sort of pick. You could go Annie here too, technically, but the Aurora, nice, good team fight coming in. I really like that pick as well. I think this is a great lineup so far for both teams.
You know what? You're right. Both teams have great lineups. Pantheon, with that global pressure, being able to respond across the rift pretty swiftly to anything that Team Secret Whales wants to do. I do see how MVK is going to struggle into the Vi-Ari duo, though. The spell shield on that Sivir is quite good at preventing that charm, but I have to imagine that, you know, we've seen it before. You smite the Sivir with the spell shield and it dissipates before the charm lands, and then it's as good as gone. So Team Secret Whales, they are that caliber of player that they will be able to time their skill shots to get around it, negate it, burn it before you go in. Varus with that long range poke. Aurora, though, really wants to get up in your face. I'm seeing a lot of MVK jumping on top of you, and Varus does not answer to that kind of pressure very well here. But I do like the support bans we've seen. These two have really risen in priority, the Pyke and Bard.
I think one thing that's sort of being forgotten about right now, and it needs to be banned away by Secret Whales in this one, is Poppy. If they don't ban Poppy here, they leave it open to be put with the Sivir, which is just going to stop all of Vi, all of this Ahri. And I think it is one pick that really will be that front line that Viking is currently missing. So I think Poppy needs to be a ban here if they don't want to be versing it. But if they let it through, I guess they're sort of rolling the dice and maybe picking it up potentially for themselves. But Mbessa is that final ban. I am worried about this Poppy potential pick, but again, it's the tank meta support. It's starting to come back into effect. We're not seeing enchanters as much, and with a Sivir, you want something with a little bit of engage.
Yeah, because you want to be able to just free swing at your opponents here. You want to get those boomerangs, you want to get those ricochets. You need time to get that damage down, and the best way to do that is on stunned opponents, and Poppy is able to do that so effectively. But Zyra picked up here. Okay. Definitely a durable, I want to say, support, because you're able to get those plants down. You're able to attack from a distance. You're able to space and zone and protect your Sivir that way. So it's a really creative decision to go with a Zyra over a more frontliner, but we're going to have to see a really strong, and Rumble potentially picked up for Team Secret Whales. We're going to have to see a really strong top laner come through for MVK here, because they have basically no frontline at all, as you called out there, Pyke.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a Leona picked up right now. Rammus would be awesome, but probably not. I think it's going to be a Leona, and there's going to be a Cassante being picked up to go up against this Rumble. It's sort of like the staple. Oh, there's the Skarner as well. That's honestly, I'd say right now, a more mobile Leona, if I'm being perfectly honest. Still has a little bit of that capability. Great lockdown. There's the Cassante that just speaks absolute volumes of being able to go up against the Rumble in any shape or form. Is that actually it's a Pantheon support?
Yeah, I really like this. This is really unusual. When I saw the Zyra picked, I was like, oh, maybe that's jungle, but I saw Pantheon and I'm like, oh, I don't want to call it wrong here, but I mean, we're getting so many unusual picks, right? Skarner, not the most commonly picked in support, but we have seen it in the LCK, and it has been here in the LCP once before, so maybe it's kind of becoming a bit more normal. Very tanky, able to slam things into the wall and stun them, get surprising angles on those engages, and that ultimate is so effective at locking people down. But Pantheon, again, also has the stun, also able to put up his shield and defend very effectively into whatever it is that your opponents want to put down. So I think this is an inspired choice. I think that MVK, they're not the only chefs in the kitchen right now. Team Secret Whales, they're doing a little cooking of their own.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It could be a spaghetti bolognese. You know what? I'm just thinking about the cool skin line that is coming out. That spaghetti flying monster Vel'Koz. It makes me hungry every time I see it. I'm going to see it every day on the Rift. I guarantee it. But wow, okay. Very different to game number 2, where we don't have the technical the champion select issue, where we're hopefully just going to go straight into this game, because you know what? I'm here for it. This is 2 lineups that are so big. Zyra is one of these not an enchanter, but they're a mage in the jungle that can do so much damage. Their clear is incredibly fast, but it's also like about how much impact they can have, as D-Ray is being looked at and chased off. Nice little bit of work as they're getting the vision out, and runes coming off the back. What do you take of this Zyra pick here?
I love it. We've seen it before. It has fantastic jungle clear speed. We actually saw Guri pilot it last weekend, and he was so proactive. He was putting so much pressure on that mid lane, but unfortunately, ultimately wasn't able to convert that in that particular game. So I just know that Guri's good with it. It's fast and effective. So I like that choice. Vi's going to struggle into it because Guri's going to be able to get those grasping roots down and prevent that kind of engage. That Strangle Thorns is such a massive tool, right? So like, imagine, if you will, come on this fantasy League of Legends game with me for a second. We see Aurora we see Aurora with the Between Worlds, one of the biggest circles. And then we see Zyra with the Stranglethorns, right? How are you getting out of those circles? How are you avoiding that much AoE damage?
How am I avoiding that much damage? Well, the real question is like, how am I actually in League of Legends? That's the real question. Why is Jim Pike on air in the game? That's the real question. How am I getting hit with all these Stranglethorns? These are the real hypotheticals we should be asking ourselves here, Logan, because I'm in this game every day, but it's never me, is it? Ooh, we're getting real philosophical with it.
No, that's very true here. But this is the power of the Zyra, right? The observers have, heard us talking and they've gone, yep, let's show off this Zyra in the jungle because that clear speed is fantastic. Already nearly finished that full clear. Doubtlessly going to go to those scuttles before the recall. But we notice MVK is also hard pushed up, right? So Team Secret Whales is right underneath their own turret. And Guri, using this tempo, using this timing, potentially going for a gank here.
Yeah, could just be looking for an invade as well, but Smites are going out. Histo is doing a good job, and it is going to be a little bit too much damage to handle. Guri able to lock them down and get a bit more, and forcing Eddie and BA off the wave. Now it is actually D-Ray looking for a little bit more as the flash go forward. TP, Eddie has to use that barrier flash burn too. Guri, he's gone. The first blood's just too good for Eddie, and it's just a little bit too much heat for them to handle. Shawnee TP'd in, BA no longer for this world, and now D-Ray has to be so careful. Not much mana, a little bit of health, but it is Shawnee picking up another kill there too, and a solid trade, 2 for 1 for Secret Whales.
Yeah, Team Secret Whales have to be happy with that one. 2 for 1. And first blood over to Eddie. So they give the advantage over to Team Secret Whales bot side, whereas Shawnee nets the gold for MVK in that mid lane. And it starts here. Guri, using that powerful clear time of that Zyra, just walks straight into his toe, knowing that Shulong and Haki are right there with him. BA flashing forward, gets a great stun onto Guri, which leads to that first blood over to Eddie. And the TP being committed from Shawnee just speaks to the aggression, speaks to the willingness to not let any fight go. So Team Secret Whales have to be happy with that one. They get the first blood in the first 3 minutes. And we just go back to resetting the lanes, right?
Ooh, D-Ray still getting hit with a little bit too much. The Thorns do go out. And D-Ray's just so good. They're just so much damage. Caught in the wall once again, but now it is Histo looking to return fire. Guri is low, Stulong's even lower. Let's see if they have the damage to get anything else or get a kill out of it. They need the return. Shawnee able to pick it up. They've got no mana, but it was all Vikings coming up with the goods. The gold's flung in the opposite direction, and Vikings are being a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, 5 kills in 4.5 minutes. This is the LCP. This is what we love to see. This is the aggression we're... Oh, BA!
BA.
What?
That was... Look, and now we're not even at 5 minutes and we're at 6 kills.
That was supportable combat, and we come back to it, and BA just slams Shulong into a wall and says, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, gets the kill and takes the recall. BA, the support on Skarner with the most kills.
Yeah, it's not. It was the flash, yes, flash over. This was the fight followed up as well, and it was D-Ray just getting caught out a little bit too much. You can see as well that as they're going through, the grasping roots hit, and then it was just good night.
But did you see the charm from D-Ray, right? D-Ray knew that Guri was coming, got the charm off, but Guri was able to get that grasping roots off just before the charm hit, so they did their job. If that had been like 0.1 seconds earlier, I'm certain D-Ray could have lived that. Here we see, B-Ray into the bushes. Oh,
Dude's
that's
playing with
disgusting.
X-ray vision. That was disgusting,
Yeah.
straight up. He's seeing everything in the dark, and he's seeing monsters under the bed where no one else can see them. But now we're back into a bit of a stable laning phase. It's 3-0-0 for Shawnee on this Aurora. Can I say yucky twice?
You can say yucky, 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 because that's 3 kills on an Aurora on the mid laner, 6-stack Dark Seal, Amp Tome, Doran's Ring. The damage coming out of this Aurora with that Electrocute as well is already disgusting. We are only 6 minutes in. Yes, Team Secret Wales' bot lane, they're ahead nicely. Together they've got 1,000 gold over Haki and Shulong. But Shawnee is going to be a big problem. Aurora can one-shot in the late game. An accelerated Aurora is definitely going to be able to one-shot even earlier than that. But MVK, they do take the first Drake of the game, which we would expect, right? MVK love jungle objectives. The Grubs, they're up in 1 minute, and Guri is clearing the top side of his jungle. He's on the right side to take them as soon as they spawn. Histo, though, knows what's up.
Yeah, Histo actually smited it away. Actual disaster. That's the worst thing for Guri in this situation, because with the red buff now gone, you no longer have that extra burn damage on these camps. So yes, you're still going to be able to clear quite fast, but it does slow your tempo down a little bit, a wee bit. So I love that. Histo's reading this really well, knows when to invade, and is capitalizing on. So really good read there from the jungler of Secret Wales.
Agreed. And we do see that we are still at 3 kills aside. No gold differential here at all. They've gone back to parity, and it doesn't feel like that's where this game state is. It feels like MVK is in control because of the aggression coming out of Shawnee on this Aurora. And D-Ray, bless his soul.
Yeah. Kratos has a lot of health. Pun has to be very careful here. Drops the equalizer just to see, but no, Kratos gets the solo bowler in this top side. It's just a Cassante diff, and it's only 8 minutes.
Yeah, getting a nice solo there. Kratos with that all-out over the wall takes Pun far, far away from the safety of his tower and gets the job done. We do see Pun, he didn't actually have any sort of AP damage, so the MR coming out of Kratos really helped him survive this fight and any return damage from Pun here. He did think about going down, but Kratos was already well positioned, and that equalizer, it barely gets through the shields, and this early in the game, that's going to be a problem, right? Because Kratos building heavy MR means Rumble's going to be less effective, means Ari's going to be less effective. So the only person that can really damage that Cassante will be Eddie. And if they can keep Eddie away, then no one can kill Cassante. He's going to be immortal, and he's 20 CS up.
But if we can point out one of my favorite things in the game, it is going to be a Varus with lethal tempo, which means they are going to go on hit instead of the lethality, which you all know, everyone. You know I'm a bit of a hater with it. It's not ideal, but one Void Grub already going over as Histo flashes in. The charm hits. There's the big Strangle Thorns. This is going to be enough. As it's between worlds, the burn damage is just enough. Sulong is able to pick them out. D-Ray picks up Shawnee. Now Guri's in the line of sight. Sulong doesn't really have all the damage just yet, but D-Ray has to Spirit Rush away. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and it was a good turn of events. Now Pun being caught out once again has to flash. Kratos has just gone Giga mode.
Yeah, this is 2 games in a row now that Kratos flash forward.
Oh, get into it. Able to knock it down. Doesn't have the all out, but doesn't care about it. Is tanking up 4 tower shots to pick up Pun. Pun's just getting beaten left, right, and center.
Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes ago, it was 3 kills aside, and now it's 4-6. So MVK definitely getting the better of them. But before we can talk about that, let's look at this replay. BA was trying to clear some vision, and Shawnee aggresses over. Histo knows his target, goes straight in onto Shawnee, basically sacrifices himself for that one. Oh, that's unfortunate. BA altered Guri out of D-Ray's Q on that Ari, that sort of essence theft. They're not able to get the job done. Sorry, the essence theft is the passive. The Orb of Deception just missing because of BA getting on top of that. But we do... Is it fair to say we go back to a state of normalcy? Because, I mean, MVK, they're 700 gold up, with 30 seconds to the second Drake. And Team Secret Whales, the poke's starting to hurt, have got the priority in this bot side. So they've got the vision control, they've got the tempo advantage, and MVK, their jungler, is working their way down to the Drake. However, Team Secret Whales have all the vision, so they'll know. And I think D-Ray's trying to get pressure in mid, but it's not working out because Shawnee's Aurora is actually proving very strong.
Oh, yeah, that definitely is. Like, it's doing a really good job in these team fights. The Between Worlds is definitely going to be one of these big plays that is going to keep them relevant. But one thing we need to look at is Eddie with a Varus static Shiv. So just looking for even more wave clear. So what a great way to deal with a Sivir is if you can just wave clear just as fast as it has already been the first item collected, just with items on the board, as Sivir still trying to make their way to an Essence Reaver. And now Histo finding out Haki, see if they can break the spell shield just in time for a little bit more, as the damage is good. Spell shield's gone. It's a lot of damage. The final hit by Eddie secures the kill, and a nice pickup for the bot side of Secret Whales.
If one auto had missed, Haki would have got away. But if ifs and whats and maybes changed history, then it would be different, and it is not. BA here, though, Shulong tries to ult in to make something happen and is just not able to close that one out, as we do see Eddie taking that recall. And we go to the spot side replay here, right? And it's his toe being proactive. It's making the play happen even under that tower. Yeah, the flash forward, the Q, the auto, enough to get that job done. And Haki just caught out, really. Clearly, no vision, wasn't expecting his toe to be in that area, and it nets them a kill. It keeps Team Secret Whales in this game, right? It's 5 to 6 kills, even gold. MVK, 2 Drakes, the Rift Herald up in 2 minutes. No other real objective coming up, so Team Secret Whales, they're answering MVK now. They're catching back up, right? They're not letting MVK run away with it or snowball too heavily. But this Cassante with the Canic Rookern, who's going to hurt him?
Eddie. Eddie's going to hurt him. Eddie's going to go poo, 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 and do exactly that. And it's just going to be all light, electricity everywhere. I don't know. It's going to be like all cool looking stuff, but still, I think it's Eddie who's going to do the damage. Eddie's 2-0-1 right now. They're on their way to a Ginsu, so they're looking pretty strong. Let's see if they can get enough damage off. Is okay, a little bit more damage. Kratos fears nothing. The TP shield that just came out is still sitting there comfortably. So going to be very hard for Pun to be able to do anything, but I think it's all about how well can Pun drop an equalizer on the team, Logan. It's not about how well can they do in the 1v1. It's the team fight.
That's very true. Kratos does have a 1 level advantage over Pun, though, so has that 2nd level of the ultimate, of that all-out, has that little advantage. Pun, though, closed in on 11 himself, and it's just getting traded under the tower. Kratos fearless, Kratos relentless into this rumble. I mean, they have to send help, I think, because there it is, the equalizer just to clear the wave, because we see Guri coming down. Gonna recall. That's okay.
This mid lane too. You can see in the map that they were looking for a little bit of a scrap. No way, Kratos. Leave the man alone. He's just trying to recall.
Yeah, he's like, oh, please let me in. Kratos does have a 30 CS advantage. I mean, we take a look at it, right? Eddie's 20 up, D-Ray's even, Guri's up over his toe, Kratos up over Pun. And what I'm liking, what I'm going to point out here is Kratos has kind of been better than Pun, at least in the early to mid game, 2 games in a row. It feels like Pun really struggled into that Rek'Sai. It feels like Pun is really struggling into this Cassante right now. Oh, this is a deep angle from his toe. I really like the play around the vision here. Cassante might not be the one you want to fight.
Yeah, let's see if they do want to go for something. It looks like, nah, playing it slow, playing it safe. Maybe they're waiting for a couple more members to come up, but they haven't backed, so they're clearly looking for something. Kratos now finding a couple members, getting caught out up against a wall. They don't have too much. They have the Sundered Sky on his toe, but it's not going to be enough damage just yet, as barely got them down to, what even is that? Like, 2/3 health, barely.
Yeah,
that's insane. But it is actually Secret Whales looking at the Rift Trail, trying to chunk him out, break those shields, and look back onto the objective. Dragon on the other side of the map hasn't even spawned. It's still got a minute and a half on that, so looks like it is just going to be a free Rift Herald used over. Now let's see if they look for the fight.
Yeah, so I think that must have been the play, right? They wanted to chunk Kratos down, and he went back to that top lane because they had the priority on that lane. He was forced to catch it and wasn't able to answer the Rift Herald push straight away. So it bought them that time. It bought them that space to have a numbers advantage into the Rift Herald, and MVK weren't able to step up and contest it. But I have to imagine that they're still somewhat okay with that, right? Because they've got 2 Drakes. Drake stacking is in their favor. The 3rd Drake of the game is up in another minute, and the vision control is there. They've got the Scuttle Crab vision. They've got some wards down. We see BA moving towards that jungle, and Histo again trying to just get creative with this vision control, trying to find an angle. Oh,
I don't think that they know. I think Shawnee, yeah, getting caught out a little bit, but does jump into the veil, so is going to avoid a little bit more. But Seal on the second coach comms too, saying, guys, dragons are up. If you think about it as well, I don't want, or maybe the viewers at home probably don't want to see Kratos with a Chemtech Soul as well, because this is going to make them that much harder to kill Logan. So it is really on Secret Wales to start pushing these objectives and being a little bit more there for these dragons and start stacking them themselves, because Skana with a Chemtech is probably just as dirty.
Yeah, I mean, any tank loves a Chemtech. If Rumble gets it, it means he actually becomes decently tanky. As the Rift Herald is dropped here, this feels a bit odd. Probably going to get a charge.
So I say, does that cancel out the back? Which, if it did, that would have been an insanely crazy play. But now D-Ray's on a bit of a sneaky spot. His toe also well deep, as they've found too long. Is the damage going to be enough? Is the shield is not going to be enough to keep them alive? They survive a little bit longer. D-Ray goes over the wall. Spirit Rush is good. Charm hits as well. Shawnee has to go between walls, but it's not going to be enough. And D-Ray picks up the double. Look at Eddie. He's bombing. He's weaving. He's got Fists of Fury. He's got no fear. They're looking for more. It's all on his toe. The equalizer drops. D-Ray with the last Spirit Rush lands, but it's not going to be enough to kill. And now it's Kratos, the King of War, the God of War himself, looking to join this fight. But it was Secret Wales picking up 3 members of the Vikings, and that dragon is their prize.
And that's what we were talking about, those creative angles, those creative flanks. They did that fight without Kratos, and they tore them apart. It took everything they had to live for as long as they did. Haki taking that tower shot, trying to push that mid-tier 1 in. But you saw Eddie, he was dancing. He was light on his feet. And here's where we're talking about the Rift Herald. It goes down, and it's trying to get pressure on the bot side tier 1 to drag members of MVK around. MVK know. And his toe with the lens, the Oracle lens, able to sweep for the wards, knows that D-Ray's there, and they're able to team up. It's that Vi-Ari combo. And Vi still had the ult to then be able to engage on Shawnee, while Eddie is frontlining into Guri and Haki. So they burn their summoners, they lose the team fight, and Team Secret Wales come up winning the fight, winning the Drake, and right now they have put themselves at a 1.5k gold advantage. Pike, I know 1.5k is not that much, but a game that was dead even 2 minutes ago, that's a massive swing. And the Baron's up in 45. Just these slow drawn out games, it's not what we're used to. But Team Secret Wales is proving that they're still good at it.
Yeah, look, and this is what we wanted to see out of the Secret Wales. All split long, we've said they are the dominant team. They have the control over all these other teams. They know they can win. The big difference is we wanted to see them step up as a team and show that they are ready for the stage once more. This is why we put so much pressure on them to perform like this. This is just their practice run, basically, to see how well they can do at MSI, because we want them to step up. The same with EWC. They're also heading there, so they've got these skills. They're heading to these national events. Let's see if they can make it work and really start to pop off as a tower up on the top sides. The first tower destroyed actually at 20 minutes on the mark there, Logan. It's a bit of a late tower.
Yeah, definitely not your traditional first tower take. We've seen games of League end in 22 minutes here in the LCP, so you can definitely tell this one's not going to go as quickly if that's the first tower take. Because Kratos, he's building those items, right? He's picked up those Merc Treads as well, a little bit more MR, that tenacity. Ooh, I was going to say maybe he spots this out. BA does get that recall off before we cut away. But Haki needs to find a way in. He's sort of keeping a pace. He has that Essence Reaver too to keep that mana generation going. But he's only 20 CS behind Eddie. However, he's currently 0-1-1 to Eddie's 2-0-3. So Eddie's been more involved and he's getting better results than Haki right now. And I haven't seen Shulong use Pants ult very effectively. I'd love to see him get involved in more skirmishes, in more fights around that mid lane, try and crack open that tier 1 turret, give them that map advantage as well. But yeah, right now it's not to be. Team Secret Wales just playing a little bit more methodical, a little bit more patiently.
Much like the Tibetan monks, they're sitting in wait in hope of another fight on the Baron. I'm not sure if monks usually fight around Barons, but you never know. But still, the third Coach Com is coming in hot.
I really wish we could hear the coach comms or know what they were saying, because I almost feel like, as D-Ray just goes to upset that tempo and that recall there and get a little bit of wave clear, But I really feel like these coach comms have been working for Team Secret Wales. It feels like every time a coach comm has come through, it's really been great at giving them some direction, giving them some focus. Because like we were saying, this feels like a new play style for Team Secret Wales. So I have to imagine, Kratos might be caught here.
Yeah, let's see as the charm does hit, but nice little shield does go through, but it's a lot of damage still coming out. Histo does have that Black Cleaver. Let's see if they can shred it fast enough, and no, they are just going to survive as there goes the skies. It's going to be a little bit too much as Sulong's jumping in at the wrong place, wrong times. The cease and assist does go forward. D-Ray here with the Spirit Rush is going to be enough damage. There's a lot of ignites going down. Charm just hits. D-Ray picks up the kill. It's a beautiful lockdown. It's all too much. The Between Worlds is going to hit. Let's see if Histo's able to survive a little bit longer. It's too much. Pun is undeniable as they lose out on the mid tower, but they clean up on topside Secret Wales. They were only up 900 gold. Now it's 2.2, and now they're starting the Baron.
3-0 in the top side. More and more members just kept turning up, but I really like that MVK were like, we'll get this mid-tier 1 and we'll contest for the Drake, while Team Secret Wales, they take that top lane priority, they get this free Baron, and I'm sure that they're happy with that. 3 kills and the Baron for the cost of a tier 1 turret and the Drake? Yes, please. However, it does mean that Team Secret Wales are forced to respond to every single Drake now as well, Pike. But here's where it all kicked off. Beautifully buffered charm from Kratos there, not dragged into D-Ray and his toe, but instead just sits still and is able to walk away. And here's where I thought the play would fizzle out, but Sulong ults in. And I did say I wanted to see Sulong ulting more, getting involved with these fights, but not like this, as 2 TPs are committed. And I loved seeing BA rock up and Pun. It just became a party of hundreds. And Team Secret Wales juggled that aggro from that turret beautifully, because it was all under that turret and no member of Team Secret Wales died.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage that they're clicking over. And now that this Baron is in play, they're already up 2k on the Baron play. And now they're looking at all these towers. They have the moves. D-Ray's down on this bot side, looking at the tier 2. They've just cracked open the tier 1 in mid. So the gold is just going to keep growing steadily. It's now at a 5k gold lead with 11 kills on Secret Wales. And they're staring down, taking this series by storm in a 3-0, because if they can push a little bit further, one good team fight they've shown is all it takes.
One good team fight is all it takes for MVK to find a way back into this one as well. If they can somehow get Kratos in front of everything, Shulong in front of everything, as that bot side tier 2 is taken down by Team Secret Wales, I really do think that MVK stand a chance, because Kratos takes so long to kill here, Pike. I really do think that he's the one who needs to be taking the damage up front at the start of these fights, but it's just Team Secret Wales not letting him. They chip away at him, they get around him to stop him being that immortal object that we all know Cassante can be. Every single member except BA of Team Secret Wales has a shutdown gold on them. Eddie, D-Ray, Hizto, all 300 plus. Baron so far, 3,500 gold. This is Team Secret Wales tightening the net. They're closing off the win cons. MVK are having less and less options available to them right now because Team Secret Wales are being stole the poke.
Yeah, and it's every single member on Team Secret Wales has a gold lead of some form. Eddie is looking incredibly good this series, 2-0-3-2. They've really defined their role and they said, guys, I can just play for late. The equalizer drops on their head and it's burned Sulong to half health. They've still got more tankiness in the bank as they are looking down this tier 2 top side, but it is still 3 members strong trying to clear out these waves. Actually, it's kind of an interesting question. I'd love to know who clears faster, a Siva or a static Shiv Varus. We'll just never know. But now, tier 2 in the mid is going to be picked up as well. So it's a 7k gold lead for Secret Wales now. They have just blown this lead out of the water and a very different game out of them out of the first 2 series. It felt very slow and methodical. Now they're stepping up the tempo.
And 4,500 of that 6.7k gold lead came from that Baron power play as well. They really got a lot of great value as Sulong might be caught out here.
Oh, and Pale is going to land, and they're just going to be able to hit from behind. See you later, Alligator. No shield can save you here. And now the TP is actually coming straight in. It's actually Pun. We're going to join the fight a little bit too aggressively, but with 1 member down of Vikings, Secret Wales can take these fights.
Yeah, they're in a 4v5 advantage right now, so they can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. Pun just getting burnt down by Guri's plants there. But you take a look at the items as well. The item advantage over to Team Secret Wales is significant. Most of them have 3+ completed items. D-Ray on a 10 stack, Medjai's on that Ari, and a 620 gold shutdown. That's massive. That just goes to show how involved D-Ray has been. He's 4-1-4. He's nearly 60 CS up over Shawnee right now. Shawnee hasn't had a kill since those first early minutes. He's still on that 3 kills that we saw him at. And I'm looking for him to get some... Oh, his toe. Deep flank from his toe.
Oh, I love these flanks. They make my day as it could be everything you want and more, but spotted out just in time by a good ward. There's the equalizer, cease and desist onto the backline. Harky's the target, but see if the Impale's going to land. It hits on top, but it's only BA really on this 80 carry. Gone. It's a double kill. Maybe try and make it a triple for Pun. He's had a rough series, but it is the triple coming through. And now they are back in the winner's circle. A shutdown does go over for Shawnee, able to pick up Eddie, but now they're charging the back down. Looking at this mid, Charm goes forward, not going to land, but with enough members gone, they cannot turn the fight, but they can look towards the dragon.
Yeah, 3 for 1. They have the advantage. That jungler is dead, so Hizto likely just going to get a free dragon here. It will be a Chemtech Drake, just bolstering the defenses of Team Secret Wales all that much more. Can you imagine, right, a 4 Mountain Drake Chemtech Soul? If this game goes that long, you would never be able to kill Team Secret Wales, but I don't think they want to let it go that long. I think they want to collect this Baron and close this one out because they're at 7.5k up. They're ready for it. Ooh, okay. We see this again. And this is Hizto and D-Ray connecting again, getting that deep flank angle. And the equalizer did some great work there, getting a lot of damage down. As we go back to live, and they're fighting in their live as well.
They were, but they weren't at the same time. But Pun's triple kill there, always nice to see, as Harky did get jumped on by D-Ray in that 2-2. But yeah, Baron's already been started. It's Hizto and Eddie. They have a lot of attack speed. They have damage. Eddie's already got those 4 items. He's picked up that Terminus and the Jack Show. So going to be so much harder to kill. But now a fight is brewing. They're looking for a little bit more as D-Ray hits the charm. Guri has to be careful here. One false step is going to be bad, but now getting the plants into the Baron pit is all it takes. Is there is the equalizer drop. It's just gone. It is Secret Wales locking it down. BA wants to make some moves. Looking at Kratos, who's already incredibly low. Between worlds, the shield's going to pop. Can they get anything more? It is BA who picks up the Cassante. It's a tank off, if you ask me. And now they're looking to charge down mid. They have the Baron buff here, Logan. Let's see if they can clean up the game. There is no on the side of the Vikings. Now, it's all on Secret Wales, looking at mid-tier 3. They want to close this game out nice and clean if they can. 30 minutes into the game. It's a 10k gold lead here, Logan, and they have to be very careful. They just need the wave. They can do no wrong as long as they hit the towers. They're trying to get as much off they can. Histo, trying to stay alive, does get proc with the GA. They have to be careful. One false step. There's the Sky. It's going to be dropped. Where did the Pantheon go? He just got absolutely obliterated. Shawnee is here, looking for something. No between two worlds, and Secret Wales are backing off.
They're backing off. They still have 2 minutes of this Baron. They don't need to force it. They don't need to rush this. D-Ray!
D-Ray! Spirit Rush! God damn! Rush my heart.
Well said. He was smiling. He knew what he did. He just brutally got that pick onto Guri on the back end of a fight that they were retreating from. That was so clean. And D-Ray here, he zoned 4 members of MVK. What happened to Kratos' health? Was that just Eddie? Oh my God.
Yep. It was Eddie. Eddie Bobetti did a damn good job. Honestly, the static shift working wonders, and they're building a little bit of AP now too, so I wonder what that's going to really turn into. But regardless, Eddie, this game has been looking so good, and now looking for a bit more of a fight. BA coming on in between worlds. Sorry, there's no world you belong in when D-Ray's in the game, and now they're looking to siege up on this top side. D-Ray is 7-1-6, 3k gold lead over Shawnee. They had such a good start, Shawnee, with this Aurora had, picking up an early triple, but now the base of Vikings is in tatters. The longboats have been set on fire. There is no retreat for these Vikings. They cannot hold on much longer. The Baron is pushing down. The equalizer drops to Guri. He's standing on top of it. He has to stopwatch on top of the equalizer to survive, but Pun has a different story to tell. It's all too much. D-Ray, Spirit rushes forward. It's too much damage. D-Ray, Inevitable Man himself, looking for another MVP call because this was an exceptional series out of the Secret Wales. They want to go to MSI. No, they're already going to MSI. They just want to show that they are the #1 best team in the LCP.
The Whales have sunk the Vikings. They have taken tonight's best of 5 series in a clean 3-0 sweep. D-Ray was godlike. D-Ray had a 25 stack Medjai's. That was absolute clinical performance out of Team Secret Wales. All 3 games we saw Team Secret Wales, they started slow. MVK were able to get some early advantages, and then that mid-game, Team Secret Wales just decided no more. Now is our time, and they emerged from the depths to absolutely stifle these Vikings, to send them back packing because they just had no answers. It feels like Team Secret Wales, they were practicing a new style, and suddenly they were like, you know what, this isn't practice. We can win for real from here, and they did it in a convincing fashion in this VCS derby. MVK, though, they're not out. They are just knocked down to that lower bracket, and they can fight their way back up.
Look, and they still showed exceptional signs of life. Vikings should definitely feel good with that. Maybe not good with the result. Obviously, it would be pretty rough to be taken in a 3-0 out of a best of 5. But the way that they were still so highly contentious at the start of every game, they were taking it to the Secret Wales and they were putting the heat on them. I think the Secret Wales were just so calm and composed. They were like, we've dealt with this fire before, guys. We're like a stainless steel cast iron pot pan. We're sitting in this fire. We are chilling. We're just cooking up a nice stew and we're ready to eat it because honestly, the Vikings still play really well. I just would have liked to see them try to utilize their members a little bit more. I feel like Haki never really got a game here, Logan.
Yeah, and I also feel like in this one, particularly, Shulong was very, very quiet. BA, I think, ultimately had more kills than Eddie, was how impactful he was on that Skarner as support. Shulong, whenever he ulted, it didn't feel like the ults were pivotal. In fact, we saw him ult at the end of that game and just disappear. It was like, oh, that probably wasn't the best one, but I want to talk about D-Ray and Histo here, right? That Vi-Ari combo. We know it, we love it, and real quick, here's Eddie just out-handsing Haki and Guri. Like, he was frontlining the two of them, and he loses maybe 80% of his health bar, but so does both Haki and Guri as he dies on the back end there. But Histo and D-Ray, Ari and Vi, as player of the match, goes over to Eddie. Well done. Congratulations, Eddie.
Eddie's tied for first right now, getting that player of the match, which absolutely well earned. Like, especially the Kaiser game, they were making things work. They were very aggressive. The Misfortune game, I would say, was their best game tonight, even though it was incredibly slow. And I was kind of falling asleep for about 25 minutes. As soon as it clicked over, this Misfortune was unleashed. So big props to Eddie there, now sitting towards the top end of the leaderboard. But let's look at these tight fights, because this one was where we saw the Aurora really start to come alive and pick up these early kills that we thought was going to close out this game a bit.
Yeah, and this was like great proactivity from MVK, and it was a great engage from Guri, but Team Secret Whales showing the signs of their aggression here, that they can just unbottle at a moment's notice, responded in kind, responded so swiftly. And here is D-Ray's only death of the game, right? It's when MVK presented overwhelming numbers. It's when they CC'd him and just were able to land everything. And then D-Ray went, never again. He did not die for the rest of the game. That's how he got the 25 stack Medjais. And again, Kratos getting the better of Pun, right? 2 games in a row, Kratos got the better of Pun in the early game. Kratos gave MVK angles in, and it just felt like they weren't able to capitalize on it. They weren't able to close that pressure out. Eddie did good, right? Obviously he got player of the match, but he did good enough that the rest of the team didn't have to support that bot lane. They were able to commit resources to other areas. And Shulong kept getting caught. Shulong felt like he just didn't have the impact that BA had.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. Is it really came down to BA just being a little bit of the better support here. They were on the picks where they were highly mobile. They were able to move around and even getting that solo kill for the supports and picking up Shulong here. But this fight here is really where we started to see the Secret Whales starting to turn up the heat a little bit more. They said, we can take Kratos on. We need to start killing this top laner. They're tanky, but they're not unkillable. And then this fight here, I'm not sure what that ultimate was really for, but it sort of just stops so much impact as Sulong here is already so low. Here comes BA, the charging typhoon of a Scorpion with the Impale, pulling Shawnee back, trying to hold on, and Histo somehow surviving was shocking to me.
There was a lot of electrocutes there, so, you know, a lot of procs shocked there, but great impales from BA as well. Not only necessarily netting kills, but just controlling those fights, preventing that member from being able to contribute, buying Team Secret Whales even more time. And I do feel like Shawnee on this Aurora, and if MVK did this into any other team, I really feel like MVK would have won this series 3-0. But it's not any other team. It's Team Secret Whales, our #1, and they're proving that they can play in multiple different styles. They're proving that they can adapt to their opponents and play their own, which is a scary and dangerous thought. And if I put it in the context of Split 1 versus Split 2, Team Secret Whales has all of the conditions that they had in Split 1. They're strong. They're able to take any fight that they want, but they've leveled up from Split 1. They can now slow play. They can now fast play. They can draw you into objectives. They can meet you at the objectives you want. I'm struggling to see an angle of weakness into this Team Secret Whales right here.
Well, you know what? I can see the weakness, Logan. I can see it with my two little eyes. And it's the next series that's going to be happening tomorrow night because one of these teams has to move on to verse Secret Wales in match 5 because it is, looking at this knockout stage, Garm and DCG next on the podium to see as it's match 4 coming up tomorrow night. Tonight's games are done, Logan. I didn't think it was going to be over so quickly.
Yeah, look, I love League of Legends and I like 5 games, but it was only 3 as we do see, there it is, Eddie picking up that player of the match, has 3 now for the LCP split 2, rightfully up at the top. And there's Haki, who was the AD of MVK in the games we just saw. And it just felt like, as you said, he was a little quieter, he was a little less impactful than Eddie because I think the rest of Team Secret Wales, they were able to quieten him, they were able to priority target him. But enough about tonight. It is tomorrow night that we look forward to. It is Garm from the VCS, our 2nd seed, versus Relove DCG, our 5th seed from the PCS, looking to run up to the grand finals because there's an opportunity here for a rematch of Split 1 grand final, Team Secret Wales versus Relove DCG. It's possible.
It is actually possible. The way DCG's been playing of late, they've come into the later end of this split and decided that they want to win, whereas it sort of felt like the first part of the split, they weren't. Maybe they were just trying to test the water. They were trying to see what was going on and sort of play around with a couple things. They were throwing some shapes at the wall and seeing what stuck. But now they're actually online. They've stuck those shapes on. They're like, great. There's a bunch of stars on the roof. They're glowing at night. Great. Let's see what we can do with it. And they're looking really good. The other side of that is Garm. They're looking exceptional as well. They're looking so fierce. Their gameplay's very clean. Maybe not as clean as Secret Wales, but clean nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, they don't find themselves as a 2nd seed for no reason. Drakthar started out a little shaky in the split and has definitely leveled up. Relove DCG, though, they're hitting their stride at the right time. Who will win tomorrow night? You'll have to tune in to find out because we're done for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night because here in the LCP, we're made for this.